to this past week, and let's take a look at Lynch, the third-year man out of Cal State, who made this team as a replacement player.
And it's really come on. 3 interceptions so far this year, and this is very decent coverage that he has on Webster Slaughter. He reads the sideline coverage. Position that if it's not a perfectly thrown pass by Bernie Kosar, he's there to make a play on it. Boy, what a big year Slaughter's having so far, averaging almost 17 yards a catch, and he gets the Cleveland first down.
Slaughter picked up that first down mark on the sidelines and gets the first down inside the 44-yard line of the Bears. No score, just underway here in the first quarter from Cleveland. Bernie Kosar, of course, as you can see, struggling. We talked about that particularly last week. He went for one stretch in the third quarter last week with 11 straight incompletions. There is Mr. Intensity. Bernie Kosar, very cerebral, obviously changing the playoff, reading the Bear defense. Metcalf following Manoa. And Metcalf collides first with John Roper, a rookie starter over linebacker, replacing Jim Morrissey, out for the season for these injury-plagued Bears with a lacerated kidney.
When we spoke with Mike Ditka yesterday afternoon, he addressed Eric Metcalf very simply by saying, let's get serious now. When he's in the ball game, the Browns' intention is to get him the football. And so you can be sure that more than just one person in a dark blue jersey is going to be tuned in to Eric Metcalf, regardless of where he is on the field, whether it's a running back on the wing or even split out. He'll get special coverage and attention.
Second down, about 9 yards. The ball inside the Bears' 42-yard line. Kosar airs one out. Intended for Slaughter. That ball hung just long enough for Sean Gale to get back there with Lorenzo Lynch. And again, as it happened last week with Kosar, underthrowing the football.
And this is a case where Slaughter is going to get by Lynch. Lynch plays the back pedal just a little bit too long right there. Slaughter has a couple of yards on Lynch, and you can see, as Frank told you, he has to come to a complete stop, Webster Slaughter does, waiting for that ball from Bernie Kosar to come down. He's almost playing punt returner right there, and a good look at Sean Gale getting in there, but really if that ball's on line where Slaughter doesn't have to break stride, that's a Cleveland touchdown, and rather easily.
Third down and 9. Kosar back into the pocket, no receiver, and he goes down in the arms of Tony Woods, the rookie from Oklahoma, an 8th-round draft pick that is filling in for yet another injured Bear, Trace Armstrong. Armstrong, who missed last week with a badly sprained ankle. And the rookie Tony Woods, one of 3 rookies that opened for the Bears tonight.
Yeah, they ought to come up with a new sack category, the coverage sack. And that's what that one would go into the books as right there. A lineman gets credit for the sack, but really it's the secondary and the way that they blanketed the Cleveland receivers that ought to get credit for it.
There's Mark Green again, the rookie from Notre Dame, as Brian Wagner tumbles one end over end that Green calls for and executes the fair catch at the 14 with. So the Bears will have their second opportunity. Still no score. 10:38 remaining here in the first quarter from Cleveland. We'll be back.
If ever a name stood for a flat-out performance and excitement, it's Bonneville. This place and this car. Get on your Pontiac and ride! Pontiac ride! Fast, powerful, and true to its name. Bonneville from Pontiac. Get on your Pontiac! We build excitement!
Looks like Daddy's bringing home the barbecue. A big sack of McDonald's McRib sandwiches. Grilled pork and that sassy sauce. Tempting, huh? Like a barbecue in a bun without the bones. And with a big icy Coke, it's, well, you're only human, huh, Daddy? Chomp. The good time, great taste of McDonald's McRib for a limited time. Only at McDonald's.
So we really doing this?
We're gonna have a long time together.
Oh, I'm late. I gotta go.
Talk to you later. Over dinner.
When?
8.
8? Be there.
Bye.
is why Allstate gives a 10% discount for cars with anti-lock brakes. We're the only major insurance company that does. Call Allstate.
Herschel Walker and the Minnesota Vikings battle the New York Giants. Next week on ABC Sports.
Bud Carson, in his first year ever as a head coach, so many great years as a defensive coordinator, but got into the offense a little bit the past couple of weeks. For the first time in his career, he's been forced to.
That's a story we'll delve into as we move along.
First and 10, the Bears at their own 14-yard line. Tomczak floods the backs to the left. It's downfield. Wendell Davis. And Davis on the out gets the first down out over the 30-yard line. Boy, that was a well-thrown football.
Sure was, and the timing was absolutely perfect. The Bears not a great sideline team, and Mike Dick will tell you that's partly by design. He just doesn't think about it a lot, but really, how do you fault the coverage at all of Hanford Dixon? Just a nicely run route by Wendell Davis. The break was perfect, just as Mike Tomczak released the ball, and it was a good level throw right on the numbers. That's the kind where a quarterback really has no chance.
Davis picks up the first down out over the 30-yard line. Gentry, number 29, in motion. Anderson, no chance at all. Taken there by Michael Dean Perry. We talked about how quick he is. And he was off the line like a rocket. Sometimes wonder, Dan, if he's not guessing with the quarterback, anticipating the count.
Well, this is nothing more than super penetration by Perry. The Bears up front are trying to run a complicated blocking scheme. See Mark Bortz, he's going to pull and trap, and Jay Hilgenberg is attempting to block back on Michael Dean Perry. And boy, you're asking a lot of a center to snap the football, which freezes you for a moment, and then block all the way back on someone who gets upfield penetration as quickly as Perry. Virtually an impossible block for Hilgenberg.
There's a loss, and it's second down and 16.
Boy, look at Perry again.
Mustard. And the big one bowls out over the 30-yard line to about the 32-yard line, getting back to the original line of scrimmage. And again, as Dan mentioned, penetration by Perry.
Now he's behind the play, but again, watch the explosion and how quickly he's across the line of scrimmage. Now the pitch gets the ball outside before Michael Dean is able to actually get into the heart of the play. But man, I got to go back to a player like Alan Page, who I always thought was one of the greatest I ever saw at anticipating the snap count. But you can see right there are huge differences between Michael Dean Perry and his older brother William. That's one of them. Explosion off the line of scrimmage.
Third and 11. Tomczak with the four wide receivers, underthrows Gentry. And again, what the Bears like to do, get the ball to Gentry in a sure pass situation and let him run with it. That time, Tomczak had him, underthrew it. Felix Wright was there for the coverage. Al Baker pressuring Tomczak.
Frank, you know you play golf and you want to take something off a shot, and you don't take the full swing, you don't follow through, you don't do all the things you would do if you were on the tee. That's exactly what Mike Tomczak did right there. He tried to touch pass it in there all the way, had poor technique, poor form, and as a result, threw it low and away.
And that produces Maury Buford again, as Gerald McNeil this time sets up near the 25-yard line of the Browns. Low kick. And McNeil indicated the fair catch at the 27-yard line. So the Browns get it back. 8:26 remaining in the first quarter. It's down and dirty, but no score from Cleveland.
Most cameras are like the human eye. They can focus, expose light, and see in the dark. There is, however, something that can't be done by either. Zoom. Pentax gives your eye what other cameras can't. An IQ. The Pentax IQ zooms. They're fully automatic, so it's easy to get the pictures you want. And with the famous Pentax IQ zoom lens, what you see is what you get. So when you can't use your eye, use your IQ. The Pentax IQ zooms.
I'm tired of us centers getting no recognition. I played 13 seasons in front of millions of fans, made All-Pro twice, and started in 3 Super Bowls. Yet no one knows who I am. Hey, even if I'm not well known, at least my beer is. Miller Lite. An All-Pro center doesn't want some watered-down version of a regular beer. I want the less filling beer that tastes great. Let me get that.
Hey, aren't you Randy Cross?
It's well known. When it's Miller Lite, less filling tastes great.
You hear the thunder, the call of the road. No time to wonder, you gotta go.
It's a driving experience like no other. Pontiac Grand Prix.
Get on your Pontiac and ride, Pontiac ride.
Once you experience the 1990 Grand Prix, your approach to driving will never be the same.
Rebuild excitement.
See your dealer about early buyer and other incentives now in the new 1990 Grand Prix.
Donald Regan, Michael Deaver, Ed Meese. Tomorrow, Nancy Reagan speaks out on former White House aides. And later in the week, Glenn Close on Good Morning America.
A special time here Saturday, Frank. What do you think about this, Indiana and Michigan?
I like it. A couple of big setups. First at a special time, as you said, 12 noon Eastern. The 5th-ranked Michigan Wolverines, your alma mater, will host Heisman Trophy candidate Anthony Thompson and the Indiana Hoosiers. 3:30 Eastern, we begin regional coverage as Washington takes on UCLA, and you can check your listing for the game that you will see in your area. The Browns first down and 10. They're on 27-yard line, and Tim Manoa bowls his way out over the 30 near the 33-yard line. And I used to sit on the sidelines when our defense was on the field and watch this man, Dan, Jim Brown.
I know that Walter Payton surpassed his numbers, and sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense to say who was the best because it's everyone's own opinion. But in my humble opinion, the greatest ball carrier that ever tucked one under his arm in this league.
And he provided so many thrills right here in Cleveland Stadium. 9 years.
I admire the way he left the game, too, while he was on top.
Manoa got 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3. Ball at the Browns' 33-yard line. Eric Metcalf. Play designed to go to the left, and as so he often does, tried to take it back inside and was buried there by Dave Duerson. One of the many Bears who has been troubled with injuries this year. Duerson with a very sore shoulder. Pro Bowler for the last 4 years. Sean Gale was not expected to play a free safety for the Bears tonight. He has a torn chest muscle, and yet he is out there with a harness to hold his arm down. Donnell Wolford, the cornerback over on the left side, he has had a separated shoulder, and he is wearing a harness. 3rd down and 5. Metcalf lost a couple. Kozar and Webster Slaughter once again. He set himself up purposely to pick up the 1st down yardage. Good move by both of them.
And this is really the type of game that we expected here, at least early on. They're sort of a feeling out process, nothing in terms of gambling too much. No one's going to make the mistake that puts his defense in a bad position. And that type of cautious underneath route there for the Cleveland 1st down, I think, is certainly what we can expect, at least in the 1st quarter. This game right now, I'd say, according to form.
Browns 1st down out near the 38-yard line. That's the time remaining in the 1st quarter, and there is no score. Kozar wide open over the middle. Ozzie Newsome at his 150th game in which he's caught at least one pass for the Cleveland Browns. Everyone thought that Ozzie was thinking about retiring last year and was kind of talked into coming back.
And you can see Ozzie Newsome now with 150 consecutive games catching a pass, second only to Steve Largent's streak, which continues for Seattle. And the great one that time, I know, has had to struggle for catches. None of them, a few of them were easier than that one, wide open in the middle. The Bears left him completely alone.
Another Browns 1st down, another receiver wide open. Handoff is Mike Oliphant. The Browns acquired Oliphant in the trade from the Washington Redskins. He was a Bobby Beathard find of a year ago from Puget Sound, and the Redskins a year ago got him as a 3rd-round draft pick. But more about Ozzie Newsome, a special man here in the Cleveland area, and he, well, you might be well aware, he's a Travelers Man of the Year for these Cleveland Browns. And of course, every team has one. Not so much what they do on a football field, but what they do within the community. And Ozzie Newsome is a major contributor. And of course, the Travelers Man of the Year will be named at the Super Bowl. Gain of a yard by Oliphant. It'll be second down and 9. The ball resting right at the 45-yard line of the Bears. Kozar, quick drop and a quick delivery to Webster Slaughter, and Kozar has been working on just this during the past week. And again, first down yardage inside the 35-yard line, down close to the 33.
Well, he doesn't really have a choice. This is a blitz by the Bears, and Bernie Kozar doesn't have a choice but to break this off early. And a good sight adjustment and break to the sidelines by Webster Slaughter. And that move, as you can see, had Lorenzo Lynch nowhere in a position to make a play. Lynch playing more to the middle of the field. For some reason, not expecting a break to the sidelines by Slaughter at all.
First down, draw play. Manoa finds a little opening. William Perry trying to strip the ball out of the arms of Manoa. He holds on and gets close to the 31-yard line. Gain of a couple. Big number 72, the refrigerator.
You see him step right in, and Riccozzi and Banker, center and left guard, both begin a double team on the fridge, but then come off of him. I don't know if they sensed that the other guy was going to do it, but center and left guard that time make a mistake, come off and leave the fridge standing alone in the hole. Or maybe they just gave up, because if he doesn't want to be moved, he won't.
Second down and 7, no score, time remaining in the first quarter. Kozar steps back up, ball deflected. Mike Singletary stuck a hand up there. The pass intended for Ozzie Newsome. That'll bring up third down and 7.
Well, just beautifully played that time by Mike Singletary. He comes in and hits a back. Take a look at him right in the center of the screen. He comes in and makes contact with Manoa, reads pass, floats off, and then gets a hand up. Now that's sensational football, folks. He's playing the draw. His man is Manoa. He covers him, makes sure he doesn't have the ball, stops his progress, and then has the senses to bail back 5 yards, leap, and get a hand on the football. That is an all-pro play by, certainly, as you well know, an all-pro player.
Kozar from the shotgun, third down and 7. Steps back up, fires one, gets it in to Brian Brennan. Outstanding possession receiver for these Browns over the past 5 or 6 years.
And listen to the crowd cheer the reception by Brian Brennan. A very popular player here, as Frank said, who only had 10 catches coming into tonight and who has been, moaning and groaning and being a little bit vocal about not being a bigger part of the offense. And the crowd, I think, into it. A very sophisticated football crowd here in Cleveland.
There's Brennan. He just picked up the yardage, Dan. Had just the yardage for the first down. Now, we've seen that twice on this drive. And on third down. Browns with the first down inside the 23-yard line of the Bears. Kozar fires again, complete. Simple stuff, but it's moving the ball down the field. That time it was Reggie Langhorne, the Browns receiver. And he gets to the 16-yard line, a gain of 7.
Remember when Mike Ditka told us yesterday, Frank, that they were going to play a lot of zone today. They're not having great success in pressuring the quarterback, which is forcing the Bears into playing more zone defense than maybe they normally would. And I really have to credit the Cleveland Browns and their offensive scheme here tonight, recognizing that zone and being willing and patient to work underneath. You can see they're getting a lot of completions because of their patience.
Second down, long 3 for Cleveland. Kozar appears to be checking it off. Metcalf. Lightning speed to the outside. John Gale takes Metcalf out of bounds down near the 10-yard line, but a tremendous move. We saw another move in Cincinnati earlier in the year that we didn't believe from this young man, the son, of course, of a former teammate of Dan's, Terry Metcalf. But you saw the quickness there. This play designed to come inside. He took it outside for the first.
Well, John Shannon gets clear upfield there. You see number 75 of the Bears go flying by, and he really forces Metcalf to make an adjustment to duck way up underneath. And, I mean, Frank, that's just not teachable. And we go back to this game, September 25th. This is a move by Eric Metcalf that just, this may be the prettiest move we might see all year. Bang, 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 and that was a touchdown.
A 5-yard touchdown. Meanwhile, back to live action. Kozar again. High percentage stuff. Finding Reggie Langhorne over the middle. Getting the ball down close to the 5-yard line. In between Singletary and Ron Rivera, the linebackers. Gain of 4. It'll be second down and 6. This drive started at the 27-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. Well executed and well designed.
Nothing but quick rhythm passes, the majority of them underneath. Bernie attempted the one long pass to Webster Slaughter, but notice how he's been using the wide receivers in the middle of the field. Don't forget, he's still got number 82, Ozzie Newsome.
Second down, Metcalf following Manoah. And Metcalf planting the outside foot, turning on the afterburner inside the 5-yard line, close to the 3-yard line. Steve McMichael made the stop for the Bears in pursuit. Now they mark it inside the 3, and McMichael, of course, having to take up a lot of slack for this Bears defensive unit that has lost Dan Hampton at least till mid-November with another knee problem. We told you about Richard Dent not being available tonight. McMichael, of course, he's ready to go all the way, but William Perry will, in all likelihood, have to go all the way tonight. He's been used to alternating in that defensive line. Third down and long 2 for the first down, and the Browns can get the first down near the 1. Crossing play to Metcalf.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Crossing pattern perfectly executed over on the left side by the Browns. And Terry Metcalf, who did it all at the University of Texas, as his father did with the St. Louis Cardinals, is putting on a little show tonight.
He makes the break right off the tail end of Webster Slaughter, who is split all the way out to the left. Webster makes his break to the inside. Eric Metcalf comes right off behind him. Look at that move right there. Slaughter clears the defense to the inside, and that's a pass that was actually thrown back behind into the inside. Metcalf has to turn all the way around back to the middle of the field and make the catch.
Matt Barr banks it through. Good drive by the Cleveland Browns. A drive that began at their own 27-yard line, and that crossing pattern, Dan, is designed not as exactly as a pick, but it works that way as you see Ron Rivera trying to get out and cover the quick, speedy Eric Metcalf. That's almost an impossibility. We'll be back.
I was always the quarterback's favorite target. I never dropped the ball because I had hands like glue. And even after football, I stick with my favorite beer, Miller Lite. I don't want some watered-down version of a regular beer. I want the less filling beer that tastes great.
Why, not again.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Dwight.
Nice. There's no catch. When it's Miller Lite, less filling tastes great.
Aspen Cologne for men. A compelling new experience for women. Aspen, now.
Don't stop short of the peak, 'cause second best won't do. There's a pride in peak performance, and the top was made for you. It's a peak. You won't stop short of the peak.
When the going gets tough, the tough don't freeze up, and nobody's tougher than this one. Nobody. Maximum protection. Don't stop short of the peak.
You don't stop short of the peak. No, don't stop short of the peak.
Heisman Trophy candidate Anthony Thompson leads Indiana into Michigan to face the 5th-ranked Wolverines. Big Ten rivals kick off an ABC college football doubleheader Saturday.
Bernie Kosar, and a fine drive and a well-conceived drive. 28 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Browns driving from their own 27-yard line. Matt Barr puts it in the air. Dennis Gentry. And Gentry out to the 22-yard line. First down, Bears.
Let's take a look at Cleveland's touchdown from up above. And I'll tell you what one of the problems is. Ron Rivera right here is being asked to cover Eric Metcalf one-on-one. But here's what makes it happen. Watch Webster Slaughter break to the inside. Rivera has to go around him to continue his coverage on Eric Metcalf. This is almost an impossibility for Ron Rivera. Watch Slaughter. There's his break to the inside. And that much movement by Rivera trying to get around that break to the inside by Slaughter. You're just asking too much. Ron Rivera is not going to make that play, even though he came close.
First down Bears, 22-yard line. Draw play, Muster, and he pulls ahead out over the 25 to the 27-yard line. Gain of perhaps 5. It'll be second down and 5. Of course, we talked about the defense of the Cleveland Browns. They have not been the problem. They have played awfully good. After 6 games in the NFL, they were rated 2nd overall, 6th against the rush, 3rd against the pass.
And that statistic remains intact.
Good look at Cleveland Stadium, and we'll be back after this message and then a word from our ABC stations. Stay with us.
Did you know you could be losing business and not even know it?
Want a new robe?
No.
Which one do you want, fancy or plain?
Neither.
Pick one.
The one on the right.
Good choice.
It could depend on the 800 service your business is using. If you don't have AT&T 800 service, it takes 50% longer for your customers' 800 calls to connect.
It's not even ringing.
And that means your customers are more likely to hang up.
The other one was you anyway.
And maybe call someone else. And that can be the difference between losing business
Hi.
and big business.
Yes, the robes. Velvet collar? We'll take 2.
800 reliability. Another AT&T advantage.
It's 32 degrees. And Jan Trumpeter is learning all about her antifreeze. The hard way.
Why is this happening to me?
Don't push your luck. Guarantee it with Advanced Formula Prestone.
This is ABC.
Every day, thousands of cars are delivered to dealerships all across America. Of all those cars, only a select few ever win a major automotive award. Right now, 5 of those award winners are being delivered to one convenient place. A new Mitsubishi dealer near you.
You'll have to wait till after the game, but I have a great forecast coming up for this week.
ABC's Monday Night Football. Brought to you by Nissan. Built for the human race.
Fourteen plays, 73 yards. The Browns used 7 minutes and 58 seconds to put their 7 points on the board. The Bears now second down and 5. The ball near their own 27-yard line. Muster finds an opening inside out over the 30 to the 32-yard line. They'll mark it at the 33, and it'll be a Bear first down. And the first quarter story was the conception, I think, Dan, of the Cleveland Browns offense. And, of course, that is represented by that 10:46 in time of possession.
We'll go right to the top at the difference in first downs. I mean, first downs clearly transmit themselves right into minutes and seconds, and it drops right to the bottom line, just like if that was a balance sheet. And you're right, the patient offense by the Cleveland Browns working underneath paid dividends. Time of possession doesn't translate into points necessarily, but for the Browns in the first quarter it did, as they've got a 7-0 lead.
On first down. And again, Anderson having difficulty even getting back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, I think it's obvious the Cleveland Browns are not going to let Neil Anderson be the guy that beats them, and I can hardly blame them for taking that defensive game plan. Neil Anderson might be the most dangerous all-around back in the National Football League right now. The Oilers did a good job last week of holding him down, but what an explosive back. Still almost a 5-yard per carry average, but that won't last tonight if they keep this up.
And a dangerous receiver as he goes out to the top of your screen. Split out to the right is Neil Anderson. Tomczak in trouble. Tomczak will go down in the arms of, guess who? Michael Dean Perry. Tomczak dropped back close to the 25-yard line.
Michael Dean working all the way on Mark Bortz, but here's the key to it. Watch the move back to the outside. Throws Bortz back to the inside, and Mike Tomczak, who really had a pretty solid pocket for about 4 seconds, forced to hold the ball a little long. You could see him step up once, step up twice, and had nowhere to go with it. Again, credit that tremendous secondary of the Cleveland Browns was shutting down the receivers, and then Perry cleaned up.
3rd down, 17 for Mike Tomczak and the Bears. Muster. Conservative call, or rather Neil Anderson out to the right side as the Bears decide they do not want to put it up, risk it, down by 7 here in the early going of the 2nd quarter, and the punting unit will come out.
That's a call, Frank, that I think Chicago fans and football fans all around really want to know about. Very conservative call in a 3rd and long, and you wonder if that's a call that's made if it's some quarterback other than Mike Tomczak. Been shaky a couple weeks, interceptions last week, trying to throw a ball the way. Is that Mike Ditka being conservative because of the quarterback play of late?
In short, I think so. Gerald McNeil finds the opening. McNeil to midfield. Beautiful return by Gerald McNeil. Steve Heitz made the stop, and not until McNeil, the ice cube, if you will, 5'7", 142-pounder, exploded out to midfield, and the Browns have good field position once again. He sees the opening and just turns it on.
The second solid punt return by Gerald McNeil, and again, the Browns will start at good field position right at midfield.
Now more than ever, the American Red Cross needs your support. Disaster victims of the 2 recent tragedies, the San Francisco Bay earthquake and Hurricane Hugo, have turned to the Red Cross for food, shelter, and help in rebuilding their lives. Please call 1-800-453-9000 to pledge your support for the needs of these disaster victims. Now more than ever, the American Red Cross needs your support.
We're in luck. Did you know sirloin's only 177 calories and round tip steaks a mere 162? Where would we be without beef? Out of luck, I'd say. Beef. Real food and luck. Wisconsin.
The first one was when Tony Dorsett broke the long touchdown run against the Minnesota Vikings, because we both were competing for the rushing title, and I was, every yard that he'd made, I was saying, Trip, please catch him. Run him out of bounds, and, you know, I can remember myself sitting on the couch watching him do that and hoping that he would, you know, probably stumble or somebody would catch him and he would drop the ball. I guess that will always stay with me for a Monday night memory.
Could it be that Mr. Sweetness said he would like to have tripped him?
Well, it's nice to see someone being refreshingly candid about I'd like to see him trip or fall down or step out of bounds. I think any of us in that same position would be thinking exactly the same thing.
McNeil has given the Browns a first down near midfield. They have a 7-0 lead early going 2nd quarter. Kozar back. Looks for Slaughter. Slaughter again, close to another Browns first down, and again, this time, as opposed to last week, when Bernie Kozar had all kinds of problems with his worst day of his career, it is 1-2-3 release.
Well, it might be time for the Bears to tighten their umbrella down a little bit. They're falling back into that deep zone, and they're just playing it way too far off the ball. Wolford, Lynch, they're just giving far too much ground to the Cleveland wide receivers. They're operating underneath quite easily.
Slaughter gets the first down. Kozar now 10 of 14, 77 yards and a touchdown. You see the change out of the top of your screen as Kozar changes the play off at the line of scrimmage. Metcalf inside the 40, stopped at the 38-yard line, and Trace Armstrong is now in the game for the Bears, playing with a very sore ankle.
Well, Frank, I think that's out of necessity because of their lack of pass rush. Now, there is Richard Dent on the sidelines. He's not here tonight with a deep thigh bruise. He really had a problem during the week. Richard was telling me before the ball game that he had a shot at playing tonight, but was bumped by a food cart at the Bear practice facility on Wednesday, right on that thigh bruise. Ended up having to go to the hospital for another look-see. And oh, how desperately the Bears could use him tonight.
Kozar doing a lot of changing out there tonight. He does it again. 2nd down and 8. Kozar now in trouble, and down he goes. And getting there first for the Bears was Rivera from his linebacker position. Kozar never had a chance to get to Ozzie Newsome, who was wide open. There is another missing Bear, of course, a familiar name, Dan Hampton.
Well, and of course, there are so many ways you can look at Dan Hampton and try to gauge what he means to the Bears. In terms of sheer production, I don't think there's any question about it. Take a look at these injuries on the defensive line, and that's going to tell you why their pass rush has fallen off. But Dan Hampton is more than just numbers. He's more than just sacks. He's more than just tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Along with Mike Singletary, he is the heart and soul of the Bear defense, and a lot is missed when he's out of there. This guy right now is carrying a big burden, a bigger load than he has to.
3rd and 15. Kozar flushed out of the pocket, throws back across the field, has enough arm to get it to Brian Brennan. A dangerous pass, but he makes the completion and gets the ball back to the Bears' 38-yard line. Safety blitz on that. Maurice Douglas coming in and flushing Bernie Kozar out of the pocket.
Well, I think we've seen a subtle change now, maybe not so subtle by the Bears. Their front four wasn't getting there. So what have we seen? Rivera gets there on a blitz. This time it's Douglas that comes in and forces Kozar out of the pocket, but Bernie makes the super adjustment. Even though it brings up a 4th down and a punting situation, I see a change by the Bears. They've gone to the blitz, and it worked.
4th down, the Browns decide to punt, keeping Matt Barr on the sidelines with what would have been a 55-yard field goal, and
big-time play.
Whether or not Stephen Braggs might be better advised to let that thing bounce into the end zone or take some kind of a bounce.
Oh, that's a sensational play by Braggs, downing the football for the Brownies. That's a big-time play.
Great stuff to get down there and pull it in. Somebody should have stepped in and taken it.
There's something elemental in us all. A basic need to seek out for ourselves a quiet place. Oshkosh now makes clothing for that search. Clothing that brings together the soul of both nature and man. Rugged, comfortable, enduring. Celebrate your natural instincts in Oshkosh Sportswear. Now available at Sears.
You know, baseball cards are real popular these days. For one Ron Say, I can get a whole case of my favorite beer, Miller Lite. I don't want some watered-down minor league version of a regular beer. I want the less filling beer that tastes great.
Hey, Ace, give me 2 cases, you can have this baby.
Dream on.
1 case. Nope, a 6-pack. Half a can?
The big league light beer, Miller Lite, where less filling tastes great.
Okay, I'll give you 2 cases, and you don't have to take the card. But that's my final offer. Must have a couple of mine already. All right.
Whoa.
A6, hurry and you'll make it.
Delta Airlines ticket agent Sam Singletary knows how to get people moving.
Mr. Franklin, your bag.
But sometimes he has to show off a few moves of his own. The kind of moves that made him a first-string halfback. Sam Singletary shares a feeling with everyone at Delta. He loves what he's doing, and it shows.
We love to fly.
Piece of cake.
And it shows.
The explosive Herschel Walker, the dangerous Lawrence Taylor. 2 of the NFL's greatest weapons collide as the Vikings meet the Giants next week on ABC.
Goodyear blimps have been soaring overhead for 29 years at various sporting events. And our captain tonight, Pat Henry from Parsons, West Virginia, could not have a more beautiful night here in Cleveland, Ohio. Temperatures today into the 70s. Beautiful Indian summer weather. Bears 1st and 10 inside their own 5-yard line. Anderson met at the line of scrimmage and finally dropped by Clay Matthews as he gets out over the 5 near the 6-yard line. Bears operating down in the dog pound. And you've probably heard a lot about it. That's what they call this area, the end zone. The bleachers, they've had some problems down here earlier in the year, and they are keeping an eye on them, so to speak.
Well, they've put the lid on the dog pound as they've gone to some surveillance cameras, and there's one right there. That guy's up in the scoreboard. The big eye is on you down there in the pound. Anyone guilty of lofting a bone onto the field will be rudely ejected.
Tomzak, 2nd down and 8. Fires incomplete. That's all that grew out of the Denver game, in which there were many things thrown out onto the field, and Modell took some, the owner of the Browns took some rather drastic action. And now they do have a surveillance camera up there in the corner of the end zone looking over the dog pound.
I'll tell you what that surveillance camera is seeing right now. A sensational effort by the Cleveland Brown defense. They have the Bear offense in a state of disarray. They are not getting much of anything done whatsoever. And Mike Tomzak now facing this 3rd and long. If he's going to throw it, it'll have to be out of the dog pound end zone. And you can see why the Browns defense so highly rated.
Up goes the decibel count on 3rd down and 8. Again, the conservative call pays off as Anderson on the draw play gets out over the 20-yard line.
Oh, great call. You see the flag come in late, but if you're going to run a draw play, go right at the quickest guy, and this is not a good sign here for the Bears if Neil Anderson is hurt. But run that draw right at Michael Dean Perry. Ooh, and a face mask against Cleveland.
More importantly, look at this. Neil Anderson rolled over, obvious pain, and now is sitting up talking to the medical staff.
Number 29 defense, 1st down.
Face mask called against the Browns, Hanford Dixon.
Again, when we look at this thing on replay, though, you're going to see go right at Michael Dean Perry, the quickest guy. We're going to pick it up here on the end. Let's see if we can see the face mask. There was the leg go out from underneath. You can see the left hand by Dixon up on the face mask of Anderson. I wonder if that's where Neil Anderson hurt himself.
I wouldn't say for sure, Dan, but when that turf gave way, it looked like Anderson might have overextended his knee. And they're looking at him right now. We'll look again. Now watch him plant the left foot and watch the turf give way. Right there.
More often than not, Frank, when you see that type of a slide out, it's a stretched groin. That's the type of a move that puts a lot of pressure on the inside of your leg and your groin muscle.
We'll get a report, but he is walking without a limp to the sidelines.
And a giant sigh of relief is going up on the shores of Lake Michigan over in Chicago.
Anderson again will look from the end zone, planting that left foot. And right about there, Anderson was looking for a place to get on the carpet. He had the 1st down, and Thomas Sanders now comes in to replace Anderson. 1st down, Tomzak in trouble again, steps up, fires incomplete, intended for Ron Morris.
If Mike Tomzak has been having a problem lately, it is what to do with the football after he's thrown out of his 1st or 2nd receiver. Make no mistake about it. This guy is the quarterback of the Chicago Bears and will be, I would imagine, for a long time to come. But where some subtleties in his game need to be refined, that's one of them. His decision-making process after he's forced out of where he wants to go initially. Last week we saw against Houston, he tried to throw a ball away twice, was intercepted twice, and there was a good look there. A poor decision, almost intercepted again.
Now Tomzak on 2nd and 10. Hand off to Anderson, who's back into the lineup. That's even better news for Bears fans. Next Monday night, we will get our first look at Herschel Walker in a Viking uniform as Minnesota Vikings travel to the Meadowlands to take on the 6-1 Giants. The Minnesota Vikings with a win yesterday, and this NFC Central Division is leadership is on the line tonight. Minnesota 5-2. The Bears ended the night 4-2. A loss tonight, and Minnesota's on top all by themselves. 3rd down and 10. Anderson is open. Neil Anderson over midfield. inside the 45-yard line, tripped up by Felix Wright.
And this is made to happen initially by the solid pass protection up front. The Cleveland Browns did not get anywhere close to Mike Tomczak, who had plenty of time to sit there. And of course, one of the ways to do it is double team this guy, Michael Dean Perry. Jimbo Covert working in from the left, Mark Bortz. They just made him disappear. And even though Banks has an opening up the middle, Mike Tomczak had plenty of time to find Anderson coming across the middle.
So certainly the worries about Anderson have dissipated as he picks up 32 yards, and the Bears are inside Brown territory at the 42. And here comes Thomas Sanders. Sanders inside the 40-yard line. Pickup of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
How quickly it can turn around. Remember, only a matter of moments ago, they were talking about the prospect of Mike Tomczak having to throw the ball out of his own end zone. What do? They go to the draw and get the big pickup by Anderson. Then another pass completion to Anderson, and all of a sudden, it's Chicago now very comfortably in this man's territory, Bud Carson, inside the 40-yard line of the Browns.
They mark it just inside, so it'll be 2nd down and 8. Tomczak lofting it for Gentry, and good coverage by Hanford Dixon, and Tomczak very wisely overthrows that ball. Gentry covered well by Dixon. Gentry not the easiest of the Bears to cover. He has great speed. Now watch Dixon, Pro Bowler several times over, and the only problem with Dixon and the concern on the part of the Browns is that he has had trouble with a slight muscle pull. But look at that, perfect position, and Tomczak very wisely did not try to get it in and risk the interception.
I think it showed you a good look at the burst of the ball that Dixon has, as he was laying off a yard or two, and then all of a sudden almost effortlessly moves right up into position.
3rd and long. Tomczak just getting rid of it under tremendous pressure. Now Bubba Baker, an unprotected free agent that the Browns reacquired from Minnesota just this past season. He was here before, went up to Minnesota a year ago, and the Browns picked him up again. Now in his 12th year, and over in that left side with Carl Hairston and Clay Matthews, they have 38 years of pro experience. Mark Buford on to punt for the Bears, and McNeil once again situates himself inside the 10-yard line of the Browns. And this time, Buford carries into the end zone, and the Browns will get the ball 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line. 5:59 remaining in the first quarter. The Browns on top, 7-0.
In this decade, the face of the over-the-counter securities market has changed dramatically. The face of the municipal bond industry has changed dramatically. The ranking of firms executing futures contracts for clients has changed dramatically, as has the ranking of firms with the largest amount of assets under management. Shearson Lehman Hutton. When you do it better, you get to be the leader.
On October 2nd, at 6:45 a.m., mass murderer Horace Pinker was put to death. Now, he's really mad. From Wes Craven, creator of the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Shocker. Rated R. Starts Friday at a theater near you.
The last time the Browns met the Bears, it was at Soldier Field in Chicago, and they opened the season of 1986. With the score tied at 7 in the first quarter, Dennis Gentry popped through a host of Browns, broke into the clear and went 91 yards for a touchdown. The Bears going on to win 41-31. And Dennis Gentry live at Cleveland Stadium. Big game last week in a losing effort against Houston. 6 receptions and one of them for 79 yards and a touchdown. Dangerous man. Of course, every eye in the National Football League is focused here on Cleveland, where the owners will have their annual meeting and they will be talking. One of them, of course, the owner of the Browns, Art Modell, they will be talking principally about the commissionership, trying to break the deadlock that has existed now for over 4 months since the resignation of Pete Rozelle. And here comes Eric Metcalf on 1st and 10. Metcalf gain of about a yard, hit by John Roper, a rookie out of Texas A&M.
Frank, I guess before we get off the meeting that's going to take place here in Cleveland tomorrow, I guess we've got to pass along that the way it looks, and there is the commissioner, Pete Rozelle, that a deadlock still exists. We have Jim Finks being sponsored by one group, Paul Tagliabue, the other, has major support from another group, and neither one appears to have enough to get enough votes to win the commissionership. So someone's going to have to give. A peacemaker is going to have to come from somewhere. Will it happen here in Cleveland? I don't think anyone's expecting it to.
2nd down and 9. Kozar's back. Flips it out to Metcalf. Again, very high percentage stuff, but when you deliver the ball to Metcalf on 3, 4, or 5 yard pass, you're looking for a major pickup. One of the great broken field runners to come into this game in many years.
Your heart rate just kind of accelerates a few beats every time this guy touches the ball, Eric Metcalf. And again, I just have to harken back to the similarities between Eric and his father, Terry, who was just a great all-purpose back in the National Football League. Sensational kickoff returner, punt returner, receiver. His son is all of the above.
3rd and 8. The Browns from the shotgun and their own 22-yard line. Kozar steps up and looking for a place to light. Went down once and got up again when he realized there were no Bears around.
For a minute, I thought that was Eric Metcalf with the ball. And Bernie appears to be limping a little bit. Look at Bernie hobble. He may have gone down and landed right on that right knee. It is not one of Bernie's wish or desire to head upfield when he has the ball, and there is a guy that just doesn't know what to do with it. And again, he got up hobbling and is still limping. In fact, limping quite noticeably over here now on the Cleveland sideline.
Meanwhile, on 4th down, Brian Wagner is on, and Mark Green is back for the Bears. Wagner bangs one. It doesn't turn over. Here comes Green from the 38. And hit at the 44-yard line. Van Waiters there defensively for the Bears. Good special teams man. Of course, Monday Night Football all began here back in 1970. And it was a special event that night. Monday Night Football came on the air. And this was the opening kickoff of the 2nd half. Remember this name, Homer Jones, used to be with the Giants, performing here with the Cleveland Browns. Finds a little opening, breaks it off, and goes 94 yards for a Browns touchdown. The Browns going on to win that first game of Monday Night Football, 31-21, when Billy Andrews intercepted a Joe Namath pass late in the game.
Homer Jones here at the game tonight, along with a lot of the old Cleveland Browns.
Didn't have a ticket, though, did he? On the 44-yard line, the Bears. Brad Muster over the right side. Hit right at the line of scrimmage. Gets out over the 45 to the 46. It'll be 2nd down and a long 8.
You see one of the Cleveland Browns still down on the field. You can take a look at this, that the first half that the Bears have been having so far is nothing new. They've had problems here at Cleveland Stadium before.
Carl Hairston,
Big Daddy,
the injured Cleveland Brown. There he is now in his 14th year, and he has been playing exceptionally well in this defense, of course, conceived by Bud Carson, 4-man front, playing on the inside.
Carl's got 2.5 sacks on the year so far. As Frank said, he has been right in the thick of things, and kind of a player that coaches just covet on a squad. Tremendous practice habits. Let's see if we can see what happens. There he is to the left there, right on top of Brad Muster.
You can see a whole lot of heavy bodies, and most anything can happen when you get that many bodies twisting and turning, and all the torque and all the weight involved. And now Hairston appears to be all right. Doesn't appear to be anything with the legs. Perhaps he had the wind knocked out of him.
You can see
we'll see him again.
Yeah, you can see that next week Carl Hairston will play in his 200th National Football League game. And Frank, you and I were in this game a long time and know a lot of people, and I don't know a handful of the guys that went over 200 games. Not a lot of kickers have done it, but not many defensive linemen. That's a lot of football in the pit.
Of course, came to the Browns from Philadelphia, and he's replaced by Chris Pike, who also came to the Browns from Philadelphia in a trade last year. 2nd down and 8 for the Bears. And that's Brad Muster out over midfield. They'll mark it at the 49-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Muster, a fine receiver in his collegiate years at Stanford University, and used, as you can see, quite sparingly by the Bears as a receiver. Brownies bringing out their 5th and 6th defensive back against a 3rd and 3 for the Chicago Bears at the Browns' 49-yard line. 2:18 and the clock is moving. Remaining here in the first half. Browns lead at 7-0. Tomczak has a lot of time and throws behind the receiver. Dennis Gentry once again, and almost picked off by Tony Blaylock. And again, the anguish on the part of Tony Blaylock that had it right in his hands.
Well, that time the Bears have 3 wide receivers to one side of the field, and they almost try to run a carbon copy of the play that the Browns used to score their touchdown, only this time Blaylock all over it. And Mike Tomczak again putting a ball into tight territory.
Maury Buford to punt. Gerald McNeil is back for the Browns once again. Not a good kick by Buford, and McNeil will handle it again dangerously at the 17-yard line.
And there comes the
he
flag.
Is hit very late out of bounds by Lorenzo Lynch, and the flag flies.
Boy, what a sensational job by McNeil of coming up and handling that ball. That almost certainly would have taken a Chicago bounce and put the ball back towards his own goal line. And now look what Gerald McNeil has done. He comes up, fields the ball, saves his team some territory, and now it appears that there will be yardage added on as McNeil waves goodbye to his adversary over on the Chicago sideline.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 43, Chicago, Chris Dan.
Let's see how far out of bounds McNeil is. Yeah, there's no question. That's going to bring the flag every time, and it's a cameraman who paid the price. Lorenzo Lynch. Poor decision, cheap penalty.
I mentioned earlier that McNeil only goes 142 pounds.
Well, you can see that by how easily
late in the afternoon.
Look how easily he leaves terra firma.
And a 1st down for the Cleveland Browns. Once again, good field position, their own 38-yard line, and we get the 2-minute warning.
Genuine draft.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Cold filtered, never heat pasteurized. Miller Genuine Draft. For those who discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Hold it! Sorry, can't let you check in here. What? Won't get to the Super Bowl here.
Go to Holiday Inn now!
Head of their Super Bowl sweepstakes. Hold it! Hold it! Every week, a new winner gets a trip for 2 to the Super Bowl. Morning, sir. For your own good, don't stay here.
Come to Holiday Inn, where this week's Super Bowl sweepstakes winner is Richard Peterson, who entered the Holiday Inn, Independence Mall, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Holiday Inn. Stay with someone you know.
You! Go to Holiday Inn. Time out!
If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again.
Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, the patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it, so it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. The lift and cut shaving system from Norelco. We made close comfortable.
The Bay Area is recovering and the World Series will continue. The Oakland A's and the San Francisco Giants take the field for Game 3 Friday night on ABC Sports.
That happened on a Monday night. Last time the Bears were shut out.
Yeah, we were there. That was at Candlestick Park. Everybody got a shot at playing quarterback for the Bears that night. Mike Tomczak, Jim McMahon, Jim Harbaugh was in that game as well.
Cleveland has 3 timeouts. They have a 1st and 10, their own 38-yard line. They lead the Bears 7-0. As we wind down here in the first half. Draw play, Metcalf. And Metcalf met by Mike Singletary. Loss of a half yard, a yard, and the Browns will go without a huddle. Bernie Kosar passing it along the line of scrimmage. Manoa, draw play, similar success. Crowd doesn't like it. Ron Rivera made the stop for the Bears. 3rd down and 11. Well, they'll mark it this time at the 36-yard line, so call it 3rd down and 12.
I don't know that that call will go in the Offensive Coordinator's Hall of Fame. Not a very good statistic there, folks.
Kosar working on 7 straight completions at this point. And make it 7 of 8. And that was a quick series by the Cleveland Browns. That pass intended for Reggie Langhorne, and the punting unit will come out.
That was an ugly sequence by the Brownies. I mean, the first down called Eric Metcalf, a hard to find fault with that, but then you bring Metcalf out of the lineup and run virtually the same play to Tim Manoa, who has no breakaway potential whatsoever.
Mark Green back for the Bears. Wagner again to punt for the Browns. Whoa! Good kick by Wagner. And Braggs again.
Oh, Mr. Braggs turning in some, put this guy in the punt coverage Hall of Fame.
Great effort to get down on a ball that could have been fair caught by Green somewhere out around the 15-yard line. Green giving Braggs no chance to kill that ball. Braggs hustling down once again. And the second time within just a few minutes, the Braggs has killed the ball inside the Bears' 5-yard line.
Now this guy's making a bid for Pro Bowl honors as a special teams player. Wisely waved off. And look at the effort by Braggs. First of all, to get to the ball, but then to stay out of the end zone. Look how alert Braggs is staying out of the end zone. The ball spotted up at the 4.
Brian Wagner loves it. That goes down in the book as a 60-yard punt.
With no return. That's a net 60.
Neil Anderson pulling straight ahead out over the 10-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 3. Clock ticking away here in the first half. Browns leading 7-0.
Why isn't Cleveland stopping the clock? They have all 3 timeouts left. Why are they content to let the clock run out, where if they could force a Chicago punt?
Second and 3. Seconds ticking away. Bears short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down. Reminder coming up. Again, we'll give you an opportunity to vote on some great moments tonight. The best scramble by a quarterback, and of course the proceeds of tonight's efforts on your part and our part will be donated by ABC and the National Football League to the American Red Cross that is doing such a wonderful job out in San Francisco. 7-0 halftime, and Mike Ditka exercised several times here in the first half. Calm as compared to last week, but he'll go in and have a word with the boys. And the Cleveland Browns lead the Chicago Bears 7-0. Good football game. Stay with us. We'll be right back after a message from the National Football League and a word from our stations.
A tribute to the spirit of competition from MCI. Proof that commitment to excellence brings out the best.
I like my bottom line. I hate wasting time. I like my MCI. I get more. I like my MCI.
For induction into the National Football League Hall of Fame, Mike Ditka.
This is it, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. To be selected is the greatest honor of my life. To join men like George Halas. And because of him, I started my career as a Chicago Bear. And I'm with the Bears again. And the game I loved as a player is still in my blood as a coach. The will to win, the fire competition. They're all part of the stories that are here for you at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And when you see Mike Ditka, remember that in life, just as in football, there's a lot more to winning than just wanting to. See, you have to prove yourself every day, to always give your best. You really never lose until you stop trying.
They're all here. The records, the films, the stories at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Don't miss it. This message furnished by the National Football League.
Wednesday.
All right, ladies, wet your lips. They'll look better on camera. Vinny? Holy mackerel. Hello there. Do you mind if I tape you for my doctor?
Doogie Howser, MD. And Danger's his middle name.
You can't die. You're a famous journalist. Famous people die in threes.
Yeah, with my luck, I'll fall just when Cisco and Ebert are getting out of a cab.
Anything but love. Then.
All we ever do is disagree. If you wear that dress, you don't have to say a word. Just change the subject to sex. It works every time.
China Beach.
So Ohio has just participated with BMW in a rigid test of gasolines. I mean, they were really finicky. And High Octane's Ohio Super was first in the U.S. to pass BMW's official test for lifetime intake valve cleanliness. Of course, you don't have to drive a BMW to take advantage of Ohio Super. It would be nice. Ohio has a new BMW available to give away every week in the Ohio Super license plate jackpot. Check your station's weekly winners list for your license plate number.
Winners make smart moves, and nobody's better than your Ohio Ford dealers in service and in selection on the smart new 1990 Ford Tempo. Now you can make your move on the 1990 Tempos with great savings from your Ohio Ford dealer. He's a winner that outsmarts the competition.
Winning Ohio over, have you driven a Ford lately?
Sam Shepard's son.
Tomorrow at 5.
Hello, I'm Keith Jackson. College football doubleheader here on ABC Sports Saturday begins with Indiana at Michigan. Wolverines trying to stay atop the Big Ten chase, followed by Washington at UCLA or Ohio State at Minnesota. Check the local listings for the game in your area here on ABC Sports.
Welcome to the Toyota Halftime Report. Brought to you by Toyota dealers and their quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Now, let's join Frank Gifford.
Welcome back to Cleveland Stadium, Cleveland, Ohio. We're at halftime, the Chicago Bears and the Cleveland Browns. And tonight, your voting continues on the best plays over the history of Monday Night Football. Tonight, as we continue to celebrate our 20th anniversary season, you're going to have the opportunity to pick the #1 quarterback scramble. And once again, all the proceeds from tonight will be donated by ABC and the National Football League to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. They're doing a great job in San Francisco. All right, here they are. Atlanta, they called him General Lee. And in '73, this Lee beat Grant, Bud Grant, that is, whose Vikings were 9-0 until the Falcons beat them in one of the biggest Monday night upsets.
What about watching? Bob Lee still running. He's got him wide open. Like that. Eddie Ray, touchdown, 39 yards out. Bob Lee running all over the place and finally found Eddie Ray.
As unbelievable a play as you'll ever see. At Navy, he was known as Roger the Dodger, and he still had some dodging left for the NFL. He scored 20 rushing touchdowns for the Cowboys, including this beauty against Kansas City.
The ball just short of the 9-yard line of the Kansas City Chiefs. Staubach, a lot of time, but no place to put the ball. And now he may run it in all the way in. Roger Staubach. He's a tough cookie, but
he is some athlete. You've got to admire that man, his character as well as his ability.
Just like Joe Namath before him, Richard Todd came to the Jets from the University of Alabama. But Joe Willie never ran like this. Todd's 16-yard effort helped the Jets beat Miami at Shea Stadium. Todd.
He scored.
Brilliant run. He was in trouble. It looked like he was going to be sacked.
I'll tell you, my friends, that is some play by one Richard Todd.
Randall Cunningham has led NFL quarterbacks in rushing each of the last 3 seasons, so we know he can move. But Carl Banks found out something about his strength and balance on this play.
Look at that agility. Something special right there. Jimmy Giles, the receiver. Cunningham, by all rights, hit by Carl Banks. He should have been down. He maintained his balance. We talked about his athleticism, and he fires in the corner. Beautifully executed rollout. Randall Cunningham is a ready for prime time player.
Okay, now to enter your vote, just call 1-900-339-1ABC. Your call will cost us 95 cents, and all the proceeds tonight will be donated by ABC and the NFL to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund, which has done so much during the crisis in San Francisco. Now, if you get a busy signal, keep trying. Our lines will be open throughout the game.
I love what you do for me, Toyota. I love how you set me free, Toyota.
Toyota's new 4-wheel drive, 4-door 4Runner for 1990. Space, luxury, and V6 power. Where you go is your concern. Getting you back is ours.
Back in Cleveland, the Browns over the Bears 7-0 at halftime. Well, as we all know, the World Series resumes this Friday in San Francisco, and our colleague Al Michaels will be there with our ABC crew. Earlier this evening, Al Michaels filed a report on game number 3 and talked with Giants owner Bob Lurie. Here's Al.
In the center of your shot right now is Candlestick Park, and as we pull back, the city of San Francisco. 6 days after the tragic earthquake, this great city and the entire Bay Area region trying to get back to normal on a very dreary and rainy day. But we do anticipate, as far as baseball is concerned, that the World Series will resume Friday at Candlestick Park. Game 3, the Oakland Athletics leading 2-0, and the first pitch is scheduled a little bit after 5:30 Pacific time on Friday afternoon. In 1976, the Giants came very close to leaving this area. In fact, they were conditionally sold to interests in Toronto. Bob Lurie and a partner literally came in and saved the franchise, and for the first time since he has owned the team, the Giants have won the pennant and are in the World Series. Bob, you were born in San Francisco. Your family is from here. You have lived here your entire life. Baseball aside, what have the last 6 days meant to you in this region?
Obviously, they've been very traumatic. There's been
deaths, there's been a lot of destruction, but I don't think to the degree that the nation feels it. I think the farther you get away from San Francisco, the more destruction you think there is. But this city is bouncing back already. People are doing things. They're going to the opera, they're going to restaurants, they're going to theaters, they're going to football games. And I think they want to go to baseball games starting next Friday.
Now, you know, some have said, well, it's almost sacrilegious to resume the World Series. It's lost its credibility. What do you think when you hear and read things like that?
I heartily disagree with that. The World Series, there's only one World Series, and that is the premier event, as far as I'm concerned, in the country each year, as far as sporting events go or any other events. And this is the time to do it, and we're not canceling the World Series. The commissioner is completely in agreement with that. He wants it to go on. It will go on, and Friday night we're going to start scoring some runs and win a game.
All right. Well, we'll see you all on Friday night as well for Game 3 of the World Series. Our broadcast begins at 8 Eastern and 5 Pacific time from Candlestick Park. By the way, you can help the Bay Area recover from the earthquake. You can make a credit card contribution by calling 1-800-453-9000 or send your contribution to American Red Cross Disaster Relief, P.O. Box 37243, Washington, D.C., 20013. Please specify that your contribution go to the Bay Area earthquake relief effort.
Occasionally, through the sands of time, there emerge designs which are viewed as more than evolutionary. Introducing the revolutionary 1990 Toyota Celica.
The Toyota Halftime Report has been brought to you by your Toyota dealers and their quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. We'll return with more of ABC's Monday Night Football after this from our ABC stations.
The Richard Nixon no one knew.
They were hoping to find something to nail on me.
Do you know if this conversation between the president and John Dean could have been tape recorded?
The personal moments no one saw.
Those are private, candid discussions. There's rough language on those tapes.
Right. You're right.
The real story you never heard.
I've decided to resign the presidency effective noon on Friday.
An intimate look behind closed doors. AT&T presents The Final Days, Sunday at 8, 7 Central.
Something big going on over at the bakery.
Yep. Folks still talk about the day the nuts came to town. The day Hostess made the first nutty ho-hos. Peanuts packed in devil's food cake, creamy filling, chocolatey frosting. It's not just a snack cake.
That's a lot of nuts.
New nutty ho-hos cakes. They really went nuts with the nuts.
Yep.
TV5 Eyewitness News Brief, sponsored by First National Bank of Ohio and by your better Buick dealers.
Good evening, I'm Wilma Smith. Here's a break in the battle between the Browns and the Bears. Football fans around the country are getting this impression of our city tonight as Cleveland lights up for ABC's cameras. Now this.
My loose change used to go in here every day. Now it goes in here and collects a lot more than just dust. First National Bank of Ohio.
A huge plastics plant explosion in Texas has rescuers searching for victims, and Cleveland police are still rounding up suspects in a drug sting at this hour. Join us for these stories and an Indian summer weather forecast after the Browns game. See you then. Go Browns.
Only one American car line can be ranked highest for initial product quality, and that one is Buick. Buick LeSabre, ranked the most trouble-free American car. Buick Riviera, most trouble-free American luxury car. Buick Skylark, one of the most trouble-free American compacts. And now get up to $1,000 factory cash back on the sensational new 1990 Buicks, depending on the option package selected. Test drive the most trouble-free American cars at your better Buick dealer.
Preparing before you take the marital plunge on the next Oprah Winfrey Show.
Tuesday's terrific for kids.
I never want to forget this perfect vision of beauty.
On Who's the Boss?
Damien lives.
And run for cover, This Kid's Got Wheels.
Wayne is driving.
You want to go to the mall?
The Wonder Years, and it's boys' night in.
Ah,
the smell of testosterone.
Have fun and games at Roseanne's, then have chicken soup.
It's easier to make a joke than a decision.
The third is, why do you think Bob Hope makes much more money than Judge Watson?
First, Who's the Boss and the Wonder Years, then Roseanne and chicken soup. No kidding, Tuesday's terrific.
Watch out, it's a winning Wednesday. First,
an 18-year-old woman is forcing me to go to the driving report.
And this is bad? Growing pains. Then love is majorly in bloom on Head of the Class.
We're just good friends.
And
all right, ladies, wet your lips. They'll look better on camera. Vinny?
Doogie Howser, MD.
Holy mackerel.
Then sparks are flying. The heat is on. Anything but love.
I usually take it with cream.
Growing pains. Head of the Class. Doogie Howser, MD. Anything but love. The right combination. A winning Wednesday.
Thursday, it's all new adventure.
Find her!
Mission Impossible. Then,
They're passing Missouri State Militia headed this way. Hired guns in uniform.
It won't be a gunfight, it'll be a massacre.
The Young Riders.
ABC's Monday Night Football. The Chicago Bears versus the Cleveland Browns. Brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered for real draft taste, so tap into the cold. By Buick and your Buick dealer. The great American road belongs to Buick. And by Holiday Inn Hotels. Holiday Inn. Stay with someone you know.
Ready for the second half kickoff. The Cleveland Browns kicking to the Bears. The Browns on top 7-0. Both teams coming into the night with consecutive losses. And the team who loses tonight not only will have loss number 3 in a row, but they will also drop out of the lead in their division. Thomas Sanders for the Bears out over the 25-yard line to the 26-yard line, where the Bears will have a first down and 10. Let's take a look at the only score of the first half. Bernie Kosar on a crossing pattern to Eric Metcalf.
And this followed a really superb Cleveland drive coming all the way down the field, working underneath. Short little dink passes by Bernie Kosar on that drive, and barely even here in the first half, but in reality, the only solid drive was put together by the Browns, and they followed it all the way through with that score you just saw to Metcalf.
14 plays, and it used almost 8 minutes.
The Bears, meanwhile, have not been close to scoring.
Tomczak rolls left, sets up, looks downfield, and fires for the tight end, and finds James Thornton. Thornton out over the 45-yard line to the 47 before Hanford Dixon takes down the big tight end.
And that's the first time that James Thornton has been near the passing game tonight, and really a pass kind of indicative of his pass routes. He's got an 18-yard average coming into tonight on 16 passes, so this is not a guy that just runs 5- and 6-yard curls, although it looks like most of the curls he's been doing have been with his biceps. But when it comes to the passing game, RoboCop, as he's known, likes to work the longer patterns, and he's very effective getting open deep.
23-yard pickup to the Bears 48-yard line. First down. Tomczak back once again. Tomczak got up close to the line of scrimmage. He might have got over. The flag is down. Tomczak, who was criticized openly by Mike Ditka about not taking off and running when he had the open field, perhaps felt he should have taken off on that particular coverage of the Cleveland Browns, and then decided not to, and they are going to call Tomczak over the line of scrimmage.
Well, I think more than I think what they're going to call is one of his linemen being downfield. The signal was for the ineligible receiver downfield. I think we're going to see one of his linemen downfield crossing the line of scrimmage, thinking that Mike was going to run the ball, and quite frankly, there's no way I can blame any of his offensive line. Mike gave everyone in the stadium the impression that he was going to run with the football.
Ineligible downfield, number 78 offense, still first down.
Keith Van Horn, thinking that Tomczak was going to pull it down and run, is over the line of scrimmage, trying to provide a little help to Tomczak, and he gets the flag.
They really, you can't blame Van Horn whatsoever. Van Horn's just doing his job. And you're right, Mike Tomczak has been hesitant. He just doesn't look like his decision-making process is coming very quickly once he's forced out of his regular mode. Once he's off his first or second receiver, Mike Tomczak tonight appears to be just a little bit hesitant before he's making a decision.
First and 20 now for the Bears. Tomczak under a lot of pressure. He just unloads that one. And it was Michael Dean Perry once again who chased Tomczak out of the pocket. Perry, quite a force tonight.
Well, look at where Michael Dean is. He's in the gap right there, and he's working to the outside of Tom Thayer. And really, with him being lined up in the gap, you're really asking the impossible of Thayer to keep him away from Tomczak when Tomczak is rolling to the right to begin with. But give that man a lot of credit. 92. First time he's been on the field with his brother William. And as far as the performance we have seen tonight, the game ball is going to this guy, Michael Dean.
Bears looking over second down and 20. Anderson flanked out to the right. You see the flag as Muster lumbers up over midfield all the way down to the 48-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. But you saw the flag?
Well, one of the guys who was across the line at the snap of the ball was Big Daddy Carl Hairston, who's back in the game. We saw him leave in the second quarter. Was he drawn off? No, he was not. But Carl Hairston was clearly across the line of scrimmage. He lunged, braked, but still was in the neutral zone.
Offside, number 78 defense. Penalty decline, third down.
So Muster all the way down to the 47-yard line. Now keep your eyes on number 78. Working in the middle, you off the ball a little early. But Muster with a good pickup. And the Bears decline the penalty. Third down and 5. Tomczak, under a lot of pressure, stepped up like he was going to run, raised the ball as he looked at a receiver, and down he went in the arms of Tom Gibson. Gibson, who filled in last week for the injured Robert Banks, one of those unprotected free agents that was acquired by the Browns from New England.
If there's a difference tonight in what we've seen so far between the Browns and the Bears, it is that the Browns are able to pressure the quarterback with only their front four, allowing 7 people back in coverage. The only time the Bears have gotten anywhere near Bernie Kosar is when they've had to come with the blitz.
McNeil for the Browns inside his 10-yard line as Buford hits a fine punt that they'll mark inside the 20. And the Browns will be deep in their own territory near their own 15-yard line when we come back.
Pure, genuine, never heat pasteurized. A beer that's made unlike any other. Cold filtered to give you the rich, smooth taste of real draft beer. That's the mark of a great beer. So tap into the cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
It's a feeling of power, of substance and style. You know that you're on your way. The great American road belongs to Buick. Oh, the moment has come to go your way. The road, your Buick and you. Oh, the great American road belongs to Buick.
Financial serenity. It takes confidence. Control. Travelers has been delivering on this promise of financial peace of mind for 125 years. With carefully controlled investments, with insurance protection you can trust. The Travelers, you're better off under the umbrella.
Herschel Walker and the Minnesota Vikings battle the New York Giants.
All the Reddit fans are here on Monday night.
Next week on ABC Sports.
Glad you're with us. The kind of game that we sort of expected. Two intense teams that have turned the ball over a lot in recent weeks. Very conservatively played tonight.
Really, the defensive effort we're seeing by Cleveland tonight, though, Frank, I think is reminiscent of what we saw last week by Buffalo. It's really been absolutely nothing being done by the Chicago offense, and more than criticize them for not playing well, I'm more inclined to give a lot of credit to the Browns and their defense. They're showing why they're one of the very best in the league.
Browns lead 7-0 early here in the third quarter. 1st and 10 at their own 14-yard line. Kozar back, good protection. Rifles one out to the sidelines. Great shot to Slaughter. That ball carrying some 30 yards in the air, and it was a rope.
I think this is going to confirm the point I was making earlier about it's really the Cleveland front four that's able to pressure the quarterback all by themselves. In this instance, the Bears only come with 4 down linemen, and Bernie Kosar has no pressure whatsoever. That's a pattern that takes a little time to develop. The deep out pattern by Webster Slaughter, and Bernie Kosar had nothing but time and good sight lanes to his receiver to the outside. The Bears have somehow got to find a way to pressure Bernie Kosar.
And a good look at Lorenzo Lynch, who started for Bestie Jackson, reading the quarterback, losing the receiver, and getting beat to the outside. First down, 33-yard line of the Browns. Eric Metcalf, and he is hammered by Tony Woods and Mike Singletary. Singletary coming through from the inside and Woods on the outside.
Boy, the way the Browns were blocking that up front, it looked like they were expecting it to go to the inside. But there's a look how quickly Mike Singletary reads it, follows his blocker, follows his own man rather, staying behind Woods, almost like a running back would follow a blocker, hides behind him but still watches the ball carrier. And then when he sees that the running back is committed to the outside, bursts off his rear end and makes a play. Very similar to the way a fullback would follow a pulling guard.
Loss of 3, 2nd down and 13. Metcalf in motion. And the little touch pass to Manoa, who breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage and gets out to the 34-yard line before John Roper is there along with Dave Duerson. Big Tim Manoa, of course, filling in for Kevin Mack.
And the loss of Kevin Mack is a loss that the Cleveland Browns have not yet recovered from. Kevin Mack, who had a variety of problems this year, a drug suspension, then a jail sentence. He's currently in jail right now, eligible for a shock parole at the beginning of next month, and the Cleveland Browns cannot get Mr. Mack back in uniform quick enough. Again, an inept rush by the Bears.
And a 3rd down and 9, and Kozar is able to deliver it to midfield. Reggie Langhorne, the receiver. Maurice Douglas was there scrambling for the football, but a good display of a strong arm by Kozar, running to his left and firing it back across the field for a 15-yard pickup. And it went right through Douglas's hands into the arms of Langhorne.
Look at this from behind. Reggie Langhorne, number 88, but look at Maurice Douglas. He actually has the ball, and somehow the ball found its way through his arms into the arms of Reggie Langhorne. How did Maurice Douglas not come out of there with that ball in an INT?
Bears showing blitz, drop out of it. Kozar steps back up and gets the ball to Manoa, who bowls over one defender, Lorenzo Lynch, and gets another Brown 1st down.
All right, let's look at that again, guys. That's really worth a second look. This is almost sleight of hand. If you were to freeze frame this when Maurice Douglas has the ball in his arms, you'd say, here's an interception. If you stopped it, look at that. There's an interception for Maurice Douglas. Great job, Maurice. Congratulations. You've given your team great field position. What? Wait a minute. Reggie Langhorne has the ball. Are there 2 balls on the field?
And another Brown 1st down inside the 40-yard line of the Bears. Good effort by Manoa. And Kozar changing things off again, reading the Bear defense. Now the Bears change defensively, and they bring the blitz. Kozar, Webster Slaughter, great catch. Good read by Kozar to pick up the man-for-man coverage as a result of the blitz. Lorenzo Lynch, not that bad a coverage. The Bears come with the safety blitz. Kozar reads it all the way along with his receiver, Webster Slaughter.
Boy, this is some catch by Slaughter, because the coverage by Lynch, how do you fault that coverage? If anything, Lorenzo Lynch was very close to drawing a penalty for his use of his left arm and batting the receiver. But again, keep in mind what the point I don't want to harp on it. The Bears have not been able to get there with their front four. This time they had to gamble and come with the blitz, and look at the effort by Webster Slaughter in bringing it down. But the Bears had to gamble, and the Browns make them pay.
Kozar may have had problems a week ago, struggled over the past few weeks, but what a touch he put on this pass to Slaughter. They're looking on replay to see if he did possess the football. I don't think there's any question. It was just a great catch.
This might be our best vantage point right here. The Browns are up trying to run the ball. All right, this is what they're looking at in the replay booth. Look at the fingertip control, and there's no way you don't rule that a completion. And that is the ruling.
First down, Cleveland, 12-yard line of the Bears. And Eric Metcalf, who's been bottled up all night by a swarming Bears defense, again throwing for a loss. Defense spearheaded there by Steve McMichael.
And Steve McMichael is fighting a lonely war up front for the Chicago front four. He's the only one of the Bear front four that is harassing Bernie Kosar at all, and he's drawing double coverage. And actually, McMichael was in and disrupted Bernie on that long throw, but still the great effort by Slaughter. But McMichael is missing Hampton, he's missing Dent, and not getting a whole lot of help from the other guys.
Loss of 2, second down and 12.
Blitz again.
Kosar reads the blitz and gets rid of it. Had no chance. Rivera right in Kozar's face and dumped Kosar unceremoniously back at the 25-yard line, but he was able to get rid of it.
Oh, a good blitz by the Bears that time out of their eagle, coming right up the middle. You cover off the center, you cover off the guard, and then you split the gap with your blitzing linebacker, and that's exactly what happened there. Ron Rivera, lots of times tonight, has been in Bernie Kosar's face.
This is what they have not been able to do in recent weeks, and they've had to play defenses they really don't like to play, and that is a lot of zone defense that they've been forced to go to, but that time it was very effective. Third down and 12.
You blitz again? Yes, you do.
Kosar this time, he does not get it away. Yes, they say the arm was in motion. Durson again on the safety blitz and really hammered Kosar that time.
Boy, it almost looks like the Browns weren't prepared for the blitz whatsoever. Mike Singletary was jumping up in the line, kind of drawing the Browns' fire, and then it was Dave Durson that shot in about a half a second later. See, look at Singletary. Look how he draws two guys. Mike Singletary ends up taking Greg Riccozzi, the center, and Ted Banker, the left guard. And Mike Singletary, by taking two blockers, frees up Dave Durson.
Durson hiding right behind that. Nobody saw him right in the face of Kosar. And Matt Barr comes on for the field goal attempt of 31 yards. Matt Barr deadly accurate from in this close. And the Browns extend their lead here in the third quarter with 8:36 remaining. 10-0 the Browns over the Bears. We'll be back.
It's wide open spaces leading straight to the sun. Your spirit is soaring with you. The great American road belongs to you. It's the promise of freedom. You can feel it inside on a road that leads to your dreams. Oh, the great American road belongs to Buick.
Tell me, is he still upset?
Well, you know, Dad.
Never really understood why I joined. I mean, maybe you'll go straight to college. But I had to prove something to myself first.
The GI Bill and Army College Fund. If you qualify, you can get more than $25,000 for college and an edge on life.
You think Dad'll ever come around? Dad?
Cold filtered. Never heat pasteurized. Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its smooth, real draft beer taste, the world is a very cool place. So tap into the cold. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
Cleveland leading Chicago 10-0. And for the best scramble, the voting is very tight thus far. Randall Cunningham in a game that took place on Monday night last year against Bob Lee, the Atlanta Falcons against the Minnesota Vikings. Again, all the money and proceeds coming from your voting. Your calling in tonight is going to go to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund.
I kind of
operating so efficiently and so well out in the San Francisco area.
I'd like to nominate the scramble Bernie Kosar had in the second quarter as maybe one of the all-time best.
Wagner kicks off for the Cleveland Browns. This is Dennis Gentry. Flag comes in late as Gentry is hit out around the 25-yard line.
Got a pair of flags out on the field and almost certainly going against Chicago.
Referee Jerry Seaman tonight. And the Bears will be backed up. Meanwhile, back to the drawing board on the sideline. And nobody can say that the Browns have not put together a very fine offensive game plan tonight.
Personal foul. Low block. Number 94 offense. Illegal block during the return. Number 49 offense. Penalty decline. First down.
Did you see what the Brown offensive line was looking at? They were taking a look at Dave Duerson and the blitz there on third down where he came in and dropped Kozar.
All right, that was David Tate for the Bears. And also Dick Chapora. And the Bears are backed up to their own 10-yard line.
And it's getting noisy.
Brad Muster over the left side, and Muster bowls his way out for a 6-yard pickup. It'll be second down and 4. Again, we have had an absolutely spectacular day here in the Midwest, here in Cleveland. Perfect weather conditions that, as Dan well knows, having come from his home in Akron, it can change rather quickly around in this area. But it's been beautiful as we look down from the Goodyear blimp and now look back up at the Goodyear blimp.
That's the Goodyear blimp Enterprise. Captain Pat Henry's at the controls, and you could not ask for a nicer day than we've had here in Cleveland today.
They mark it at the 17, giving Muster 7, so it's second down and 3, and movement over to the left side draws flags as Al Baker steps across the line of scrimmage. 12-year veteran out of Colorado State.
When Al Baker first came into the league as a rookie with the Detroit Lions, he led the league in sacks and really was just about the most exciting pass rusher this league had seen for a long time. His rookie year back in 1978. Has stayed in this league a long time. This is his 12th year.
Offside. Number 60 defense. First down.
Jerry Seaman makes it official. It's tomorrow night. Big night here on ABC. Quite proud of it. All back with new episode. Who's the Boss? The Wonder Years. Roseanne, Chicken Soup, and 30-something. So make Tuesday terrific tomorrow night. Right here on ABC.
30-something might be another name for this Brown defense. The oldest starting defensive team in the league. A lot of guys over 30.
Flag is down and whistle has already blown. They stopped the play. And at least Al Baker is convinced it's going to work against the Bears.
False start prior to the snap. Number 78 offense. Still first down.
And Baker should know because Keith Van Horn, the offensive right tackle, working right in front of him, gave us a false start. Interesting, when these two teams last met, the opening game of the season in 1986, this Bear offensive line was perfectly intact.
Look how close the Browns are to being 30-something on an average. I believe 6 or 7 of the Browns starters are 30 or older. The oldest starting defensive team in the NFL. And look at the way they're playing tonight. Sensational football.
First and 15, and the handoff is to Anderson, who is tripped up as he sprawls across the 20-yard line. That'll bring a third down and 11 for the Bears. Very conservative on offense tonight.
Well, that the time for that, Frank, has come and gone. I don't know what Chicago has to do to open it up. I think back to what this guy said yesterday. Mike Ditka said we're going to have to play wide open football tomorrow against the Cleveland Browns. If they have been attempting to do so, they've been throttled.
Davis split out to the left along with Dennis Gentry, who now comes in motion on second down and 11. Tomczak has the time and throws it right into the arms of Frank Minifield. Tomczak, who threw a couple of interceptions that were hard to believe a week ago against Houston, that started people to thinking, including Mike Ditka, that he might make a change at quarterback, has just drilled Minifield, who must have been stunned when Tomczak put it right in his chest.
You're going to take a look at a real complicated pass pattern trying to be executed by the Chicago Bears. Dennis Gentry is the motion man. Watch him come underneath and make a move back this direction when the ball is going to go this way, and Minifield is going to be there. There's Minifield waiting to pick him up. But now watch Dennis Gentry. When he makes his move here to the inside, he's going to stop, move back to the outside, but Mike Tomczak throws to the middle of the field, thus right into the arms of Frank Minifield.
First
Some confusion there.
Browns inside their own 26-yard line. Kozar. And again, Ozzie Newsome. High percentage stuff. And it'll be a first down. Browns inside the 15-yard line.
I don't think many people, Frank, have strayed too far from their TV sets in Minneapolis as they're watching this. As Jimmy Harbaugh warms up on the sidelines, and Mike Ditka told us he will not hesitate if his team isn't going anywhere to go ahead and play Jim Harbaugh.
He even hesitated at the first of the week as to whether or not Harbaugh might he be making a start here tonight. On first down, quick count, Kozar back, fires underneath. Webster Slaughter inside the 10-yard line. Dusty Jackson on the coverage for the Bears.
Well, meanwhile, this Bear defense, which is hurt, ailing, has not really played all that bad tonight, but boy, they are now under the pressure cooker. They have got to make something happen here. A Brown touchdown would give them a 17-0 lead, and boy, that's a good look at the old sidearm toss. And Webster Slaughter having a big night tonight with 7 receptions.
As is Bernie Kozar, coming off a bad day last week. Second down and 3. Kozar 19 of 26. Metcalf, big opening, and Metcalf explodes over the left side into the end zone. And Minnesota is perking up. A Bear loss tonight, and they are in sole possession of first place in the NFC Central. And that will be the first time in well over 80 weekends that the Chicago Bears have not been occupying that prestigious spot.
A sensational cutback by Eric Metcalf. The Bears overcommit to the play side. Nothing but instincts, but look at that gaping hole. Mike Singletary, I think if we get another look at it, you're going to see Mike overplaying it to the play side, and that opens it up.
Barr splits the uprights, and the Browns are stretching out the lead. Metcalf, who has been stopped a couple of times on that play, as he sprints out to the right. This time he reads it quickly. You can almost see him saying to himself, hey, I've had enough of that out there. I'm going to take it back, and nobody can cut it back any faster than this rookie #1 draft pick from Texas. 17-0 the Browns.
From the pages of history, the missing chapter, Eric the Viking.
Scary, don't we look mean? What is going on?
A time when civilization was less civilized.
Have you done this sort of thing before?
I've been looting and pillaging up and down the coast.
And everything was going to pieces.
Really?
The future of the world rested on one man. What? Unfortunately, it was Eric the Viking.
I feel a little...
Eric the Viking, rated PG-13.
Now playing in selected cities. Starts Friday, October 27th at a theater near you.
McDonald's Happy Halloween certificates. They're 10 for $1. Good for free cones and sundaes at McDonald's. Plus, you get this free window rider when you buy Who Framed Roger Rabbit on video. What a great idea.
It's McRib time at McDonald's. Grilled pork and that sassy sauce. Add fries and a Coke and you're talking chomp, but only for a limited time. The good time, great taste of McDonald's. McRib chomp.
It's a feeling of power, of substance and style. You know that you're on your way. The great American road belongs to Buick. Oh, the moment has come to go your way. The road, your Buick and you. Oh, the great American road belongs to Buick.
Anti-black feelings have dropped sharply in America. An ABC News Washington Post poll on ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings tomorrow.
very puzzled. I do believe Mike Ditka walking the sidelines. Disappointed, of course, with that loss that came at the end of the game last week against Houston. In deep trouble here with the Browns, 17-0, with 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Brian Wagner hits it to Sanders. And Sanders hit at the 17-yard line, falls through the 20-yard line. And a few moments ago, we watched Mike Singletary working the sidelines.
And he's going up and down to his defensive lineman. You know, every read that this guy had said the play is going to the one way. He's got to fill to the play side. He's saying, who's got the cutback? Who's responsible for that backside lane? Mike Singletary, the guy who is responsible, Mr. Chicago Bear, unhappy.
Meanwhile, new quarterback for the Chicago Bears, Jim Harbaugh, comes back out onto the field, replacing Tomczak. Harbaugh fires underneath to Mustard, out over the 25, at a 7-yard pickup. Harbaugh, of course, 7 of 9 this season thus far. No touchdowns, no interceptions.
Well, I don't think anyone's surprised that Mike Ditka makes the move, setting Tomczak down and bringing in Harbaugh. Now, the important thing for Jim Harbaugh right now is don't try to do everything in one series. That was a good start, a nice short controlled pass, but he has to fight the urge to make something big happen the first time he's in there.
2nd down and 3. Mustard left side, short of the first down, hit inside the 30 near the 29-yard line. We watched Harbaugh last year when he appeared in 8 different games, started a couple of them. #1 draft pick out of Michigan back in 1987.
The one dimension Jim Harbaugh will bring, he does not have the experience that Mike Tomczak has, and there must be attributes that Mike Ditka likes in Mike Tomczak. That's why he's a starter. But the one plus that Jim Harbaugh will bring is his ability to run. He is a very gifted runner and isn't afraid to take off with the football.
3rd down, less than a yard for the Bears. Mustard. He'll have the first down after the 31. Harbaugh, of course, a contender for the starting job this year with Mike Tomczak, and even early on with Jim McMahon, who, of course, was later traded in August to San Diego, and they gave the job to Mike Tomczak, and now it is Jim Harbaugh on in relief of Tomczak, which doesn't necessarily mean he will continue to start for the Bears, but he's out there, and one would think that the job is his for the taking. On first down, looking for McKinnon. McKinnon, the intended receiver, almost picked off by Minifield, as Frank Minifield, one of the great cornerbacks ever to play this game, read the out route by McKinnon perfectly.
Well, I'm not so sure if he read the out route by McKinnon or if he didn't read the eyes of Jim Harbaugh.
And frequency. No one studies this game like defensive backs. I mean, as all the defensive backs, as does Minifield. Now, he looked at Harbaugh and he looked right into the eyes of McKinnon, stepped in front, and I'll tell you, that's textbook defensive play by a cornerback.
Well, that's why he's got a room reserved every year at the Pro Bowl site over in Hawaii. Frank Minifield, a sensational cover guy.
2nd and 10. Harbaugh tries to pull it down, and
guess who
gets in trouble, and it's Michael Dean Curry. Again, playing an outstanding game for these Browns tonight.
And so close to getting out of there was Jim Harbaugh.
3rd down and 9. Nickel package comes out for the Cleveland Browns.
Take a look at this inside, working against Mark Bortz and really very effectively blocked. Michael Dean stays with it, and that spin back to the inside just by instinct, just trying to get back into the middle of the field, puts himself in a position to make that tackle on Jim Harbaugh.
3rd and 9 from the Bears' 32-yard line. Harbaugh in trouble again. Tried to get it into Wendell Davis, and it was tipped up into the air and almost picked off.
Another look, though, at how just a 4-down lineman of the Cleveland Browns are disrupting the Bear passing game. The Browns are not having to gamble with the blitz. Their front four is pressuring the Bear quarterback, whomever it is. Michael Dean coming around on the loop, and that almost picked off a high throw from Harbaugh.
Buford to punt once again for the Bears, and Gerald McNeil for the Browns near his 25-yard line. High towering punt. McNeil steps up, avoids one Bear, and then is buried at the 28-yard line. 1:11 remaining in the third quarter. The Browns dominating. They lead 17-0. We'll be back in a moment.
Filtered, never heat pasteurized, Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its smooth, real draft beer taste, the world is a very cool place. So tap into the cold. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
Dear Rayovac, I've had a battery-operated back scratcher in the drawer for years and years. We had 2 Rayovac batteries in it. I turned it on, and lo and behold, they were still good. We were really surprised, and so was everyone else. No one believed it until we showed them that they still worked. How's that for good batteries? Sincerely, Mrs. Margaret Bronert, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Rayovac. Batteries that turn people on.
You're in Hong Kong. I like it.
I like you loud and clear. I like you close and near. I like my MCI. I like to wander and roam. I like to call back home. I get more. I like my MCI. I like my MCI.
That's the voting on our halftime, as you voted on the best scramble over the years of Monday Night Football, and very close between Randall Cunningham and Atlanta's Bob Lee. And again, we'll remind you as we get a tremendous vote this evening. We understand just pouring in. Keep calling if you cannot get through. And once again, all the proceeds tonight going to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund that is so active now out in the Northern California area.
And they are active down in the dog pound, and there's our dog pound cameraman, Richie Westline. Richie, who draws the dog pound duty every year, and for good reason. To know Richie is to realize why he's there.
Eric Metcalf loses a yard. It'll be second down and 11. #1 draft pick for the Cleveland Browns. They spent a lot to get him as the 9th player picked in the draft. They swapped around with Denver. Browns gave their first-round draft pick and a second, a fifth, and a 9th to move up to get that 9th position to get young Eric Metcalf. Second down and 11 for the Browns.
Pearson up in the hole.
Again, Kozar, who has changed many times tonight, changes once again. Flag comes down late as Metcalf gets out over the 30 to the 32-yard line for a gain of about 4.
Well, here's a break for Chicago as a holding call works against Cleveland. I think we saw an instance there where the Bears are starting to gamble a little bit. They've never lost 3 games in a row under this man, Mike Ditka. There are many ramifications. Dropping out of first place, just one. Having to put up with the week of practice might be even a bigger consideration.
68 offense, still second down.
More than that, Dan, as you look back over the years, the Bears have not been out of first place in the Central Division of the National Football Conference for 86 consecutive weeks. A loss tonight in Minnesota to take over sole possession of first place with a 5-2 record.
And yet, you know, your first indication is to say, well, they've never been this banged up. But they're banged up defensively, and defensively, the Bears have played not bad tonight, not horrible football. It has been their offense, which is extremely healthy, which has played good which has been just horrible. I mean, they haven't done anything offensively. They've had to pull their quarterback, go with their backup, Jim Harbaugh. So it has not played by the numbers so much for the Chicago Bears tonight.
Troubles in the den of the Bears, and we'll return after this from our ABC stations.
Thursday, it's all new adventure. Find her! Mission Impossible. Then,
The posse Missouri State Militia headed this way. Hired guns in uniform.
It won't be a gunfight, it'll be a massacre.
the Young Riders.
Hi, Brian. Meet Deborah Norville.
What you see on Saturday night is only half of it. Behind the scenes of Saturday Night Live on Primetime Live Thursday.
Coming up after Monday Night Football, it is Cleveland's night to shine on coast-to-coast network television. We will look at downtown Cleveland as Browns fans cheer on their team tonight after football.
I bought my Camry because Toyotas are super reliable, and I know I can depend on it. Now I'm in love with the power.
She tools around here in that red car like she owns the place.
It's a practical car, but I just love to drive it. It's so quick.
Too much car for her, if you ask me. Did I mention that it's red?
She looks darn cute in it.
I love what you do for me, Toyota.
There's only one way to capture moments like this. With the all-new Sears 3-Lux camcorder.
Stop right there.
So advanced, it can record as beautifully in normal light as it can in dim light, or even in candlelight. And do it for just $21 a month for a great camcorder at a great price. Hurry to Sears.
Some Golden Girls.
And how to get money to start your business Tuesday.
Not one of the happiest birthdays for Mike Tomczak as he turns 27 today, along with Doug Flutie. The Browns dominating. They lead 17-0. Browns now with a 2nd down and 20. Metcalf with the quick moves, eludes one Bear, but does not get away from Mike Singletary. And again, another loss inside the 15.
How do you talk about Mike Singletary without using glowing terms every time you do it? Here's the guy that comes on the blitz. This is an all-out blitz by Singletary. He pops into Riccozzi, pops into Dan Fike, fights through the two of them, and then gets out and makes this play on Eric Metcalf on a swing pass. I mean, I'm sorry, superlatives aren't enough.
Every play, 110% by Mike Singletary. 3rd down, 26 for the Browns. Kozar from the shotgun. He'll be very careful about the turnover down here. High percentage stuff, Metcalf. Flag is down, and Metcalf is out to the 22-yard line. Donnell Wolford, number 1 draft pick of the Bears from Clemson, made the stop. Cody Risen over the right side. And I believe the guilty Brown is, they'll bring that back.
Yeah, Risen was out front of the play.
Holding, number 63 offense during the run. Penalty decline, 4th down.
Browns elect to decline the penalty. They bring out their, whether the Bears decline the penalty, and the Browns are forced to bring out their punting unit. Let's take a look.
There's Cody Risen. He's working on Lemuel Stinson, and you see how his right hand actually had a hold of the jersey. In fact, Stinson went back up to try to put it back in place, but really didn't matter a great deal. Punting situation either way.
Chicago now in a good spot to get good field position. Mark Green is back, and he's standing about his own 37-yard line awaiting the kick of Brian Wagner. Takes it at the 30-yard line. And Green back out to the 40-yard line before he is buried. But the Bears do get good field position, and they need to get something happening here in the 4th quarter with 10:23 remaining. We'll be back in Cleveland in just a moment.
IBM presents You Make the Call.
Rich Carlos of the Broncos attempts an onside kick from the 35, which is grabbed at the 41 by Pat Beach of the Colts, who returns it to the Denver 7, where Carlos pulls him down. Now you make the call. Is this a legal play by the Colts?
Today, the world of the hearing and speech impaired is changing with the aid of an IBM computer. This system, called Speech Viewer, was developed by IBM to help these people enhance their vocal skills. And it's one more example of IBM technology at work.
My name is Pamela.
What call did you make? The receiving team can legally take possession of a kickoff even though it has not yet traveled 10 yards. This is a legal play.
When it comes to hauling, a lot of full-size pickup trucks claim to be the best. But is it the truck with the longest, deepest cargo box? Or is it the truck with the biggest maximum payload? The answer is, it's the truck with both. The big Ford pickup. Ford trucks. The toughest competition we have is ourselves.
See your dealer about option package savings on 1990 Ford F-Series trucks.
The explosive Herschel Walker, the dangerous Lawrence Taylor, two of the NFL's greatest weapons collide as the Vikings meet the Giants next week on ABC.
And college football this weekend on ABC, an exciting doubleheader, Big Ten and Pac-10 action. First at a special time, 12 noon Eastern, the 5th-ranked Michigan Wolverines host Heisman Trophy candidate Anthony Thompson and the Indiana Hoosiers. And at 3:30 Eastern, we begin regional coverage as Washington takes on UCLA, or the Minnesota Golden Gophers host Ohio State. Check your listings for the game in your area.
I would imagine Bo Schembechler is watching to see how his guy Jim Harbaugh does here in relief.
Anderson on the first down. Good yardage over the right side as Anderson is up close to the 48-yard line, hit there by Thane Gash.
Well, with over 13 minutes left in this ball game, it has reached the point where Chicago pretty much has to do something here offensively. This is not the series to run a couple of plays, not get a first down, and then go over and sit down. Here's an outstanding situation for Chicago, maybe to gamble a little bit. You've got second and short. Trailing by 17. Why not take a chance and try to pick up some long yardage?
And Ron Morris is on now. Good deep threat for the Bears, as is Dennis Gentry. The handoff, however, goes to Muster, and he'll get the first down just inside Brown territory, hit there by Mike Johnson.
Well, a lot of interested spectators here at Cleveland Stadium tonight, but I think that's a familiar face to most of you. Kathy Lee Gifford sitting just about 6 or 7 feet over to our immediate left, and yeah, she's got an earpiece plugged in. Kathy, nothing. Here's how do Kathy and Frank get along? They won't separate themselves by more than 10 feet.
I think we get along rather well, obviously.
Yeah, that is tough for you to get out of the house.
Kathy Lee is not here alone. First down and 10, the Bears. Harbaugh has to check off to Muster. He was trying to get it deep to Dennis Gentry on an out and go, and he was well covered by Hanford Dixon and had to check it off and dump it off to Muster.
A squandered opportunity pass protection wise. One of the few times tonight that a Bear quarterback has been able to sit in the pocket and survey the entire field, and maybe Jim Harbaugh had too much time to think about it as he threw that one a good 2 or 3 feet high. And a rather subdued Mike Ditka. Not so much the offensive coordinator, Greg Landry. I don't know if he has a problem with the formation or his personnel.
I think that was it. Of course, he called the play, and he did not like the way the Bears got into their first set. Harbaugh, who can run the football, spins away from one Brownie and gets to the 45-yard line, a gain of 5. That'll leave the Bears in the 3rd down and 5. Thane Gash and Carl Hairston there defensively for the Browns, and there is Greg Landry, who was Bernie Kosar's first coach when he came up out of Miami here to the Browns, and then of course has gone over to the Bears and is just this year taken over officially as the offensive coordinator. Great quarterback in his own right with Detroit for many years. 3rd down and 5. The Bears need to get something on the board. Here in the fourth quarter, they trail 17-0. Dennis Gentry, who does a little bit of everything for these Bears. Good receiver, great kick return man, and gets a big play for the Bears down to the 22-yard line. 23-yard pickup.
A conservative call by Landry, but nonetheless effective. And Frank talked about Dennis Gentry doing everything. The former running back, who's really a wide receiver, has to be comfortable running a play like that between the tackles. I think it's very apparent that Dennis Gentry is accustomed to heavy traffic, breaking tackles, moving upfield, weaving and dodging, and a murmur starts to go through the crowd here at Cleveland Stadium.
First down, Bears, 22-yard line of the Browns. Anderson peels off in motion. Harbaugh under pressure, and he goes down.
Oh,
Sacked
what an
by
effort.
Robert Banks, who made a tremendous effort. Banks was down, scrambled to get to Harbaugh, and gets the sack.
I guess that's an effort by Robert Banks. That's a ground sack. I mean, he crawls a couple of yards to get over and trip up Jim Harbaugh.
Banks missed last week with a knee injury, and he makes a tremendous effort here.
Watch, he's going to come into your screen from the left. There, Jim Covert cuts him, but he stays with it and won't give up on the ankle of Jim Harbaugh. Boy, and finally brings him down. And what a costly sack. Big loss.
9-yard loss. Second down and 19. Good blitz down for the Browns. And a good call as Anderson explodes right up the middle, inside the 10. Gets it all back plus more, and a first down. First down, goal to go.
You know, really, I'm surprised Cleveland is getting caught unawares with these quick plays up the middle. Just a trap, and my God, look at the size of that hole. I mean, you're going to be hard-pressed to ever find anything like that. Now, with Jim Harbaugh at quarterback, Frank, it's apparent to me that it's not going to be a high-risk passing game by the Chicago Bears. You'd expect a lot of draws, a lot of quick hitters up the middle. I don't know why the Browns are being caught flat-footed by it. This isn't Dan Marino going to shred them with a sophisticated passing attack.
Muster pounds his way inside the 5 and then spins and twists inside the 3-yard line. Bears trying to get back in this. 9 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter.
Well, it's an uneasy feeling going through this crowd here in Cleveland now.
It did quiet.
They were very comfortable with that 17-0 lead, and they're sensing that this might end up a little closer than they would like to see.
Second down, goal to go. Anderson to the 1-yard line.
Anderson, the ball carrier. The tackle by
Anderson with great acceleration, spotted a little gap and squirted through it to the 1-yard line.
Well, I would have to assume that this is bringing up a third down, but that this is 2-down territory for the Chicago Bears. If it ends up 4th and short, 4th and goal, I don't know that Mike Ditka would go ahead and go for the field goal. Psychologically, his team desperately needs a touchdown.
Meanwhile, we're ticking down to close to 8 minutes remaining in the game. Short yardage offense in for the Bears. All the big folks. Anderson tried to cut back and ran right into the arms of Tom Gibson. Nothing doing out to the left side for the Browns.
And look at this. Never even a question about sending in Butler in the field goal team. Never even crossed Mike Ditka's mind. That is the risk of running a pitch out down on the goal line. If something goes wrong up front, you're going to lose yardage.
And a loss of almost a yard. Harbaugh, good runner, good athlete. Could be some kind of a rollout to give him an option to either run or pass.
This crowd will tell you whether or not the Bears get in, and Cleveland is confused. They go ahead and take a timeout.
Bud Carson, defensive coordinator for so many years, now in his first job as a head coach. He did not like the confusion and expresses his anger on the sidelines to Mike Johnson. That's our story with 7:14 remaining.
My poor brother Tom, Every time he tried to see what he was missing, he would miss what he was seeing. Then Tom got this amazing Magnavox TV that lets him watch one show while he checks out all the others on this remarkable little window.
Hey, that's a smart window, Dick.
That's what they call it, Tom.
They call it Tom?
No. They call it Smart Window, Tom.
I don't know. I kind of like Tom.
Magnavox. Smart choice. Very smart.
Pure. Genuine. Never heat pasteurized. A beer that's made unlike any other. Cold filtered to give you the rich, smooth taste of real draft beer. That's the mark of a great beer. So tap into the cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
Recently, signs of capitalism have begun to appear in the most unexpected places. But it's tough to be a capitalist without the capital. At Shearson Lehman Hutton, we have the capital to help expand the free enterprise system globally. And in the last 4 years, we've more than doubled our investment in people and offices around the world. Shearson Lehman Hutton. When you do it better, you get to be the leader.
The Washington Huskies take on the Bruins of UCLA. Or see Minnesota go for broke as they tackle Ohio State on ABC's College Football Saturday.
4th down, and the Bears inside the Browns 3-yard line. We'll go with 7:14 remaining in the game and down 17-0. The Browns had 12 men on the field, and that's why Bud Carson was exercised as we left for commercial. They rectified that. Could be the play of the game.
There's some confusion here. Look at Jay Hilgenberg turn around talking to his quarterback.
And now confusion for the Bears, and Mike Ditka, who has been pacing and striding the sidelines, keeping it relatively under control. I say relatively for Mike Ditka.
Well, Frank, here was a situation where the center was beseeching the referee for some help on crowd noise. I mean, I think that was Jay Hilgenberg turning around saying how he's supposed to run a play that noisy. Watch the center turn around. He told Harbaugh, turn around and complain about it.
Now, the defensive team, as asked to assist with disruptive crowd noise, still 4th down.
Hey, great job by Jay Hilgenberg of taking control. You've got a quarterback in there who hasn't played a lot in a situation like that. Now, that's an all-pro player taking command.
Well, what does that do to the rule now that says after they do it a couple of times that the quarterback is incumbent to run the play if he can hear now? Is Hilgenberg qualify for that also?
The Bears are going to attempt to wait it out. See Jerry Seaman standing right alongside Jim Harbaugh. I think it's quieted down. Yeah, Jerry, let's go.
Set it again. 4th down, goal to go. The ball inside the Browns 3. 7:14 remaining in the game. Bears down 17-0. Harbaugh.
Oh, there's a flag.
Gentry was covered.
Felix Wright. There's the flag.
Right. The flag is down. I don't know whether that ball could have been caught or not, and maybe it could have been that McKinnon could have got to it had he not been held. And no, they're saying no.
Pass interference, number 35 offense, penalty decline, 1st down.
That called against Neil Anderson. Offensive pass interference. Browns will take over at their own 2-yard line. Bears with the 1st down and goal to go could not get it in. And it was messy. Now the Browns offensive unit goes back to work. 7:09 remaining in the game. Webster Slaughter Jackson chasing Slaughter, spins, stays on his feet. 98 yards on first down. Bernie Kosar puts it up. What a call.
Put a fork in the Bears. They're done.
Well done.
Burnt.
The Cleveland Brown record, erasing the previous high of 87 yards by Bill Nelson to Mike Moran. Now it's said to be 97 yards official, but that still is a Browns record. Look at this spin and twist away from Bestie Jackson. A great athletic move by Slaughter to stay on his feet. Matt Barr drills it through the uprights. Good look at Webster Slaughter, who's rapidly developing into one of the fine wide receivers. He has the speed, as you can see here, and certainly the balance. 97-yard Browns touchdown. We'll be back.
If you stripped Ford Taurus of all its awards, erased all the glowing reviews, removed all evidence of its presence on the road, and introduced it today, Ford Taurus would still be ahead of its time.
See your dealer now for low financing or special savings on 1990 Ford Taurus.
Norman, what's that?
Nothing, honey.
I asked a simple question. Norman, are you eating something?
It's nothing, honey.
He lies like a dog.
Kellogg's Nut and Honey Crunch. Crisp golden flakes glazed with sweet honey and real roasted peanuts.
Irene, what's that you're playing?
Nut and honey. Two can play this little game.
Kellogg's Nut and Honey Crunch.
The tornado that hit Council Bluffs took a lot of people by surprise.
All of a sudden, the house starts shaking.
It was such a roar with it, you couldn't hear anything.
There was very bad damage.
But the All-State Catastrophe Team soon followed with some surprises of their own.
When the adjuster came, he took care of the settlement for both the house and the car, and it was all done within that day.
When the adjuster left, I had the check in my purse.
That Allstate really came through for us.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
97-yard touchdown. Webster Slaughter. And let's go back to a few moments ago, the situation that set up this 97-yard touchdown.
Here's Neil Anderson. Watch him come out here. He's going to slip right here, and then he's going to fall into Mark Harper and take him to the ground. This is going to be the offensive interference call. There's the slip right there. Watch him take Harper out of the play. McKinnon breaks to the outside, but the flag is already down. That's what turned the ball over.
Here comes Dennis Gentry. Gentry spins away from a Brown at the 15-yard line. And all the way out to the 44-yard line. Good effort by Gentry before Tony Blaylock takes Gentry out of bounds at the 44-yard line. And let's take a look at that 97-yard touchdown pass. It was on first down.
Well, a lot of heroes on this one, Frank. Of course, Bernie Kosar throwing this out of his own end zone. And of course, Webster Slaughter for running the pass route. But I guess Mark Trestman, the offensive coordinator, has to get some credit. That's some call from your own 3-yard line. And Bestie Jackson burned badly.
Longest pass play on Monday Night Football in 19 years plus. And the longest pass play in the NFL since 1985 when Mike Quick caught a 99-yarder from Ron Jaworski.
That game at the Vet in Philadelphia. I was there.
First and 10 Bears, 44-yard line. Harbaugh sprinting out to the right. Firing into the crowd to McKinnon, who makes a sensational catch at the 41-yard line. Less than 7 minutes now remaining. Bears down 24-0.
You know, you just have to give so much credit to this Cleveland defense tonight. This is no average offensive team that they have thwarted this evening.
Harbaugh back again on first down. Flushed out of the pocket by Baker. Gets the ball to Gentry, and he breaks the tackle and gets inside the 35.
You know, just listen to the points that the Chicago Bears have scored so far this year. I mean, these are their point totals. Last week, 28 points, 35 the week before. The week before that, 27. Then back-to-back weeks of scoring 47 and then 38. I mean, that's the kind of a high-powered offensive team Chicago has.
2-minute offense by the Bears, and Gentry to stop for about a yard loss in the arms of Michael Dean Perry, who has played an outstanding game. The Browns defense coming into tonight were ranked number 2 overall in the National Football League. That had not been their problem. The problem had been getting points on the board. They'd only scored 47 points in 4 games. They lost 3 of those games. Well, they have exploded here tonight. 3rd down and 2. Harbaugh fires to Wendell Davis, and he'll have a first down inside the 20. Once again, Friday night here on ABC, Game 3 of the 1989 World Series. The San Francisco Giants down 2-0 in the best-of-7 series host the Oakland A's. We'll be there with our coverage. Begins at 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
Then next Monday, it's the Minnesota Vikings and the New York Giants. That game at the Meadowlands in New York, and our first look at Herschel Walker in a Viking uniform, and I would imagine that Lawrence Taylor will welcome him aboard.
Right now, Herschel Walker has not hurt the Giants for many years with the Dallas Cowboys, but that will be a game of division leaders next Monday night, the Vikings and the Giants. And again, our vote at halftime for the best scramble over the years on Monday Night Football. Bob Lee has overtaken Randall Cunningham, has a slight lead, and again, the proceeds from tonight's voting, your voting, going to help the American Red Cross, who are helping so many in the tragic aftermath of the earthquake in Northern California.
The Bears, by the way, have not been shut out since that 49er game we showed you about in '87. Only one other time in Mike Ditka's tenure as head coach have they been shut out. That was back in 1982. The Saints blanked them 10-0. That was only Mike's second game as head coach of the Chicago Bears. So only 2 shutouts against the Chicago Bears in this guy's reign as head coach.
To paraphrase the comments of Mike Ditka following last week's loss to Houston, I don't know if we're capable of winning another football game. This football team is in disarray, and we are not very good. They have not been very good tonight. 1st and 10. Bears trying to gain some respect, and pulling away from the center is Harbaugh.
Well, I think the center is entitled to snap the ball. That time the Browns knocked it out of Jay Hilgenberg's hands before he could even get it up.
Michael Dean Perry again, I do believe.
Encroachment prior to the snap. Number 90 new defense. 92.
Michael Dean, who's had a sensational game for the Browns tonight.
There's quickness and quickness, but when you're so quick you can slap the ball out of the center's hands before he can bring it up. Now that's real quick. In fact, that's too quick. That's 5 yards quick.
I wonder what he had in mind there. Nevertheless, that was not distract from the great performance by Michael Dean Perry. Certainly far overshadowing that of his brother, William the Fritz. 1st and 5 for the Bears. Time remaining in the game. Blitz on.
Oh, what a play by Jay Hilgenberg.
Harbaugh going out of the end zone, and a flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Pass intended for Ron Morris. He's complaining that he was hammered by Frank Minifield beyond that 5-yard marker, I do believe. And Thane Gash was in there on the blitz, who saw Harbaugh just get it off.
Well, did you see Jay Hilgenberg come all the way back to protect his quarterback? I know it's a little thing and a team's getting waxed the way the Bears are tonight, but some players in a losing effort never stop. And you always like to see it, and that was an excellent example. Probably the best center in the game today, Jay Hilgenberg.
A pair of penalties we saw indicated by Jerry Seaman.
We had illegal formation. On the offense, only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. That penalty's declined. We had pass interference. Number 84 offense. That is accepted. First down.
The interference, Ron Morris and Frank Minifield getting all tangled up. And Morris pushing off. Oh, you think? Just a bit. From the shotgun, down remains the same. The ball now moved back to the 23-yard line. Big draw by Harbaugh. Dennis Gentry. Gentry breaks a tackle again and gets inside the 10-yard line.
Gentry, another one of those guys tonight that seems to be doing a lot of good things for the Chicago Bears. It's tough when a team plays as poorly as the Bears appear to have played tonight without scoring any points, and yet individuals shine. And tonight, Dennis Gentry has been one of those guys.
Good touch by Harbaugh, and Gentry breaks away from Tony Blaylock, steps out of bounds, very close to a first down, and now they will give Gentry the first down. First down and goal to go.
And if the Bears score here, that long touchdown pass to Webster Slaughter really looms as a backbreaker for Chicago. If they can get in the end zone, it would have been a 17-7 game.
Harbaugh just did get the draw play to Neil Anderson, who bobbled the ball just before he was hit, and hit hard by Robert Banks. Gain of a yard. It'll be second down, goal to go.
Second and goal.
Another movement on part of the Browns. Harbaugh has that one deflected by Thane Gash, who had stepped up and was playing almost linebacker position in the short yardage. But the flag was down, and as you can see, the penalty indicated against the Browns as they moved prematurely. The drama played out on either side of the field.
Offside. Number 78 defense. Still second down.
Carl Hairston, that time the Brown defensive lineman across the field. The Browns just a little over anxious, and I'll tell you what they're doing. They're just busting their humps to try to preserve a shutout. That's very important to a defensive team, especially against a high-powered offense like Chicago.
Ball inside the 4, second down, goal to go. Harbaugh on a quarterback draw, and he'll lose a yard. Guess who? 92, Michael Dean Perry once again. Oh, that's an outstanding performance that we've witnessed tonight from Michael Dean Perry.
Against a great line. Against one of the best lines in the league.
Only moments ago, the Bears had a first down and goal to go, and this time they get it into the end zone. That was a great catch by Wendell Davis of a well-thrown ball by Harbaugh.
All right, let's back up a little bit. It was 17-0. The Bears had a 3rd and goal and a 4th and goal from short yardage. Didn't score. If they would have got in, it would have made it 17-7. Now they're down here again, and they do score a touchdown. That would have made it 17-14. The big difference, the long play by Webster Slaughter. And look at the 2 feet by Wendell Davis. Boy, there was a good look at it.
Boy, and what a touch that was on the part of Harbaugh. And they, I believe, are looking at it.
Oh, they've got to look at this. Let's see the feet. 1, 2. Boy, the second foot appeared to hit extremely close to the line. I think that this might give us our best vantage point.
While you look at the fine touch on the part of Harbaugh. Well, coverage by Braggs.
There's the right, it's in. There's the left, and it's in. Yeah. Boy, it doesn't get any closer, and I'm afraid the camera coverage doesn't get any better. Nice work, guys. They're looking at it up in the booth.
It's the replay.
Again, the receiver was forced out of bounds. He would have landed in bounds. We have a touchdown.
Dave Kamansky.
We think he landed in bounds, but it really doesn't matter. Regardless of what was said upstairs, it's a Bear touchdown.
Dave Kamansky, the instant replay official tonight. So the Bears have avoided the shutout. As Kevin Butler tacks on the conversion. 3:47 now remaining for the Bears, and again, as Dan pointed out, the Bears missed on another first down goal to go from inside the 10-yard line a little earlier, and instead gave up a first down touchdown pass to Webster Slaughter of 97 yards. Again, we'll be in the Meadowlands for the Minnesota Vikings and the Giants next Monday night. Herschel Walker wearing the purple of the Minnesota Vikings, who will be in first place in the NFC Central Division. And here's Walker yesterday. It wasn't quite as dramatic as his first game at the Vikings a week ago when he rambled for 148 yards. And this was a scary moment for the Minnesota Vikings yesterday.
Anthony Carter gets hit from the front and then gets hit from behind. I believe Chris Spielman comes in and really puts a shot, but the good news for the talented Viking receiver is he got up and really played the rest of the game. And by the way, Frank, this is a good opportunity right now to pass along a note about Jeff Fuller, the 49ers safety that was injured yesterday in that game and carried off the field. An update on Jeff is that he's coherent, he's fully awake and aware of what happened yesterday. He had some increased movement in his right hand today. That's a very encouraging sign, and he's not yet been asked to move his right arm, and I want everyone to know, all of us here, and I'm sure football fans all around America, wish Jeff Fuller a very speedy recovery, and we certainly hope that there's no permanent damage, and we wish him nothing but the best.
All right, obviously, the Bears will go with the onside kick. It has to travel the 10 yards before it can be handled, and is handled rather quickly by the sure-handed Brian Brennan as the Browns put all of their sure-handed types over on their right side, and Brennan comes down with the football. Once again, we will give you the trackings. A moment ago, those were the footprints of Wendell Davis.
Well, now there's definitive proof. There was the right foot and the left foot. Well, now that,
will we get to that someday?
This is like tennis where the chalk goes up. That's not bad, guys.
Wear electronic shoes on electronic field.
Good thing that wasn't the dog pound end, or there would have been littered with biscuits.
This is Keith Jones working the left side and working it well. Browns, of course, would have preferred the Jones stay inbounds. He stops the clock at 3:35 after a pickup of about 9 yards.
You know, it doesn't get a whole lot better for the Chicago Bears, who now have to go back home and entertain the Rams coming up Sunday afternoon. The Rams, who've fallen on hard times here, they've lost now twice in a row.
And the 49ers have taken over the lead in the Western Division of the National Football Conference as we watch Mike Pagel in relief of Bernie Kosar. They were screaming last week for Mike Pagel. Bernie Kosar had such a bad day. His worst was a pro. Certainly is not the case tonight. Bernie Kosar, very impressive, as was the entire Browns offense in a brilliantly conceived game plan. And again, you are watching a Bears team that has been decimated by many injuries. Threw in the Goodyear blimp, soaring around high overhead. Captain up there, of course, Pat Henry from Parsons, West Virginia, on a beautiful night here in Cleveland.
Good work inside our truck tonight, too. Kenny Wolf, Larry Cam, the whole gang down there.
Not bad.
When you
numbers.
can find the divots on the field, that's when you've got a game covered.
Either that or you're really looking for something.
Well, yeah. And we're looking 24-7 with 3 minutes left.
Pagel now changing off for the first down at the Bears' 33-yard line. Mike Oliphant, the speedy one, whom the Browns acquired from Washington. Former Redskin, third-round draft pick. The Bobby Beathard farm. And meanwhile, the battle goes on over the voting on the best scramble of the years on Monday Night Football. We showed you at halftime. Your votes are pouring in. Bob Lee has retaken the lead over Randall Cunningham. Kosar left tonight, 22 of 29, 281 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Browns never in trouble.
Quite a rebound by that guy. Look at that completion percentage, 22 of 29. An outstanding game plan by the Browns tonight. Mark Trestman, their offensive coordinator, has taken some heat. Randall Cunningham back in front now by 2 points. A late surge by Randall. Yes, this contest certainly more closely contested than the game tonight.
Second
yeah, Randall got a late surge there. Carl Banks called 100 times. Carl Banks, the New York Giant, who left prone on the field when Randall scrambled and threw that touchdown pass.
Carl Banks is sick of looking at that.
Are you insinuating he didn't vote?
Second and short, and the Browns pick up the first down. And we will get the 2-minute warning. Barry Redden in the lineup now for the Browns as they work on the clock. And they will remain tied in the AFC Central Division with Houston and Cincinnati.
Genuine draft.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Cold filtered, never heat pasteurized. Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
It's 11:35, and Roseanne Horn is learning all about her antifreeze. The hard way. Don't push your luck. Guarantee it with Advanced Formula Prestone.
Come on, answer.
It's McRib time at McDonald's. Grilled pork and that sassy sauce. Add fries and a Coke and you're talking chomp, but only for a limited time. The good time, great taste of McDonald's. McRib chomp.
America's best-selling cars and trucks for the 3rd straight year. Ford, winning again.
Winning the world over. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Mark Trestman, a little relief as the Browns offense rebounded. He, of course, was with Bernie Kosar at the University of Miami. And Bud Carson took over as head coach. Mark Trestman came with the job. He was management's choice as the offensive coordinator, but accepted that, and over the past few weeks it's been a struggle, but tonight has been a thing of beauty for the Cleveland Browns as they're out in front 24-7 and just running out the clock. Mike Pagel at quarterback, first down and 10, the Browns at the Bears 22-yard line. Keith Jones over the left side, and he'll lose a couple of yards covering up the football and in the arms of John Roper. Bears again playing without Richard Dent tonight. Dan Hampton not there. There was a question whether Sean Gale would play tonight. Beleaguered all year long with injuries on defense. 1:52 remaining. The Bears stop the clock. We can tell you the executive producer of ABC's Monday Night Football is Jeff Mason. Produced as always by Ken Wolf, directed by Larry Kim. Glad to have Larry with us while Craig Janoff is out working the World Series. Our technical director is Joe Chavo. Associate director Ben Harvey. Our halftime associate producer John McGinnis. Assistants to the producer Mark Amento and Jeff Kibler. Operations managers Dennis Zabo and Bob Simon. Our telecommunications manager Frank Fager. And our director of information Peter Hurt.
There is Richard Dent standing alongside Mike Ditka, and boy, the Browns could have, the Bears rather, could have sorely used his pass rushing skills tonight. He's got 4 sacks already this year, and not a whole lot of pass rush applied by the Bears on Bernie Kosar tonight.
Barry Redden to the outside. Stays inbound, turns it into heavy traffic to do so. Clock stop once again by the Bears. Coming up a little later on, they're paying Ronald Reagan $2 million for 8 days in Japan. Are former U.S. presidents really worth that much? And if so, why don't we make better use of them in this country? And that's what Nightline will be dealing with, among other things, tonight, following your local news.
This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League and the Cleveland Browns is prohibited. I hope that's the last time we do that this year.
First time ever for Mike Ditka to lose 3 in a row. We told you that. He's doing it without this man. Such an inspiration over the years. Dan Hampton, who underwent knee surgery for the 9th time a couple of weeks ago and will be unavailable, being placed on IR until at least mid-November. And also without this man, Richard Dent. On 3rd and long, Mike Pagel sprints to the outside, and Mike Pagel will not get out of bounds also, and he is hammered down at the 17-yard line. Clock ticking away with 1:15, and now stopped again at 1:12.
Paul Farron and Mike Singletary are conversing. We've seen great efforts on both sides of the ball tonight, and as always, number 50 turns in one of the big ones. You like to see that, don't you? Singletary walking over there and a little slap of the hands with his opponents. This is, wish everybody had his attitude about the way this game ought to be played.
He does play it all out, but as you just saw, he stepped across the line of scrimmage and shook hands with an adversary tonight.
There's going to be some interesting coaching now having to be done by Mike Ditka. His team has lost 3 in a row, has the Rams next week. Looking at a team in their division, the Minnesota Vikings, which a lot of people picked to beat the Bears out for the NFC Central crown anyway this year. And now with the addition of Herschel Walker, a lot of solid coaching going to have to be turned in by Mike Ditka. This is a Bear team that needs an adjustment and needs to get a whole lot better if they're going to catch the Vikings.
35-yard attempt by Matt Barr, who hit earlier from 31 yards out. So Matt Barr is now 10 of 13 on the season. And the Browns extend their lead. They lead 27-7. Mike Ditka, who doesn't know about losing streaks.
Does now.
You can learn quickly in this league, can't you? And Bears have been in first place in the Central Division for 86 consecutive weeks. And as we mentioned, they have never lost 3 in a row, and this is the way the National Football Conference's Central Division looks. Minnesota on top 5-2. And they were off to a bit of a shaky start this year. Now they're on top. And the AFC Central, well, what can I tell you? Usually looks like this.
Well, really, the Browns have been beneficiaries there. Houston as well by the Bengals the last couple of weeks struggling. And it's really a division where the Bengals kind of came back and let everyone else catch up, but still, it might be the best division in the NFL. There's a lot of good football being played in the AFC Central, the NFC West, another strong division. A lot of good football being played right now. This is parity's here, like it or not.
And speaking of parity, we'll have a couple of division leaders for you next Monday night. The Minnesota Vikings and the Giants, as Brian Wagner puts it in the air.
Well, yeah, about 3 feet in the air.
And taken by Thomas Sanders. Sanders out to the 26-yard line. Chicago out of timeouts.
Is it my imagination, or have the last 30 seconds taken about 10 minutes?
Bears have now thus far given up 102 points in the last 3 games. And in all of last year, they gave up 215 points over 16 games.
Mike Ditka almost taking on a philosophical look over on the Bears sideline. No ranting, no raving, no yelling and screaming. He's well aware that his team is playing with some shortcomings, but I don't think he envisioned the type of offensive performance that they would turn in tonight. Dismal.
Harbaugh fires and is complete to Dennis McKinnon. Bears keep it alive out over the 35 for a first down. Inside 1 minute remaining to be played. Thanks to Kelly Hayes. Looking over the numbers tonight, George Hill with all the stats. Outstanding job as usual.
You know, one thing tonight, Frank, about the replacement of Mike Tomczak with Jim Harbaugh, I wouldn't be looking for Jim Harbaugh to be the starting quarterback next week. I've got a feeling that it's going to be Mike Tomczak. He is the quarterback of the Bears. You see a flag coming in, but you know, Mike Ditka, he learned a lot about replacing quarterbacks all those years he worked under Tom Landry.
Delay a game, 57 offense.
Clay Matthews
a little late getting back.
But that's really, he had a chance, Mike Ditka, to study one of the masters, Tom Landry, in the way that he would remove a quarterback if the offense wasn't going anywhere. And if you're going to quarterback in that system, you just learn that your day is coming where you're going to be sat down because you're not moving things. The next guy will be in, and I'll be surprised if Mike Tomczak isn't back at the helm next week, Frank.
Ditka going through the Meredith Morton changes down with the Cowboys as Harbaugh hits Ron Morris in the hands. He doesn't hold on because he collides with Thane Gash. And later on, Ditka witnessed the changing of the guard with Staubach and Morton. So he's been there. The final results, Bob Lee, the winner over Randall Cunningham.
Well, what happened to Randall? He was leading.
Look at that, 116,000 votes. A lot of Lees around. Very close tonight. But again, the proceeds going to the American Red Cross. We're delighted with the turnout of the votes. Third down for the Bears, 22 seconds remaining. Harbaugh fires to McKinnon. These are the kinds of completions you get because the Browns are going to let you have them.
Frank, I can hear it now. Some reporter will ask Mike Ditka. They'll say, hey, Deardorff said Tomczak's going to start next week. Oh, what does he know? He's just an old tackle up there with that other guy and the soccer announcer and everybody else. What does he know? I'll tell you who's going to start a quarterback, and I'm the only one that'll tell you.
Oh, you modified the old tackle. Somewhat.
Which one were you, anyway?
Oh, I don't know. I played in this man's era, is all I know. I'm kind of happy with that. Bud Carson gets a big win, gets a monkey off his back, and has been there for the last 4 weeks. Browns having lost 3 of their last 4. Should be the final play of the game. As we draw a defensive foul. Hung up in the end zone. And there it is. Browns win it 27-7. And the Central Division of the AFC is tied up in knots. Cincinnati, Houston, and Cleveland now at 4-3. 2 friends who actually came out on the field before the game and gave each other a big bear hug. Mike Ditka and Bud Carson. And a tough year for Mike Ditka. Multiple injuries. And for Bud Carson, the Browns apparently back on the track that many people thought they would take this year en route to a possible Super Bowl. A big night for Bernie Kosar, coming off of his worst day as a pro a week ago.